Texas, where Hurricane Rita came ashore at about 3:30 this morning.
As we said, it is pounding the Gulf Coast. Made landfall at 3:30 this morning Eastern Time, just east of Sabine Pass, Texas. And while it seems that the cities of Houston and Galveston were spared the worst, this is still a powerful and dangerous storm, and extensive damage and flooding is expected.
Harry Smith is in New Orleans this morning, which is suffering once again. Harry, what's the latest there?
Yeah, well, you know, we had the levees that were, breached so badly during Katrina, which is almost 4 weeks ago already, were topped yesterday, and water's pouring into the lower 9th Ward. We'll have more on that in just a bit.
Thank you, Harry.
All right, thanks, Harry. First, let's get right to the headlines on Hurricane Rita. As we said, Rita is now a Category 2 storm with top winds of 100 miles per hour and a 20-foot storm surge, which is expected to cause extensive flooding. Nearly 750,000 homes and businesses in Texas have lost electricity. It may have weakened from a Category 5 hurricane earlier this week, but Rita is still an extremely dangerous storm that poses a real threat to low-lying areas along the coast. CBS News correspondent John Roberts is in Beaumont, Texas, east of Houston, with more. Good morning again, John.
Hey, good morning to you, Trey. So we just got a little bit of good news, and that is that the back side of the eye wall has collapsed. So instead of those heavy winds and the backwash of Hurricane Rita, we're probably just going to get these moderate winds and the rain that we've been getting now for about the past hour. But it looks as though, in terms of those heavy damaging winds, Beaumont, Texas, and everything south of here, including Port Arthur, is out of the woods. There is some pretty extensive wind damage up in this area. Take a little walk here across the parking lot. You can see this building over here had a lot of its windows taken out, part of its roof taken off, and some of the side of the building taken off as well. That's pretty typical wind damage, and that's probably what we're going to see a lot of in between Galveston Island and up into Lake Charles, Louisiana. Though we do hear that up in Lake Charles, there's some pretty extensive wind damage. South of us into Port Arthur, Texas, there is going to be a lot of water damage. The city itself is only about 4 or 5 feet above sea level. It's got a seawall that's 17 feet above mean sea level to protect it, but the storm surge, when it got back up in there, could have been as high as 20 feet. So we're going to go check that out in just a few minutes and see if there's any water in downtown Port Arthur. You know, even though this was steadily downgraded from a Category 5 hurricane now down to a Category 2, I got to tell you, out of all the hurricanes I've been to, this one was still pretty intense. It was a long night along the upper Texas coast and well inland as Hurricane Rita plowed ashore. Doug Clifford, a reporter with the St. Petersburg Times, got a rude wake-up call at about 3 a.m. What was happening here?
I was laying on the bed, and all the windows blew in. Glass blew over me, basically blew me out of the bed, and I grabbed all my stuff and got out.
It was about 3:30 this morning that the eye wall from Hurricane Rita began to come ashore along the Texas Gulf Coast, packing with it winds of 120 miles an hour and a 15 to 20-foot storm surge. Even more than 20 miles inland, the damage began to be felt. This is our hotel in Beaumont, Texas, where the inside is now the outside. The windows let go shortly after the wind picked up, and it's been blowing through here ever since. You can see the contents of the lobby have been strewn about, and over here, which just a short time ago had maybe a little bit of dampness, there's now more than an inch of water. This is the type of damage we're going to see along a wide swath from Galveston all the way into Louisiana. For some people, it meant yet another rush to higher ground. Melanie Baker went through Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, evacuated to Beaumont to get away. This morning, we found her desperately checking up on her grandchildren, stuck in 2 hurricanes in less than a month.
No, it's not bad. Oh, we didn't ask for it. Nobody did. I'm just happy to see my children and my grandchildren is safe. We all safe. I hope everybody's safe.
Katrina Kirkland was on the 8th floor of the hotel. Now she's riding out the hurricane in the stairwell.
Both rooms right next to mine, the windows blew in, so my bathroom ceiling caved in. And then the door came open, my ears popped, and then we opened up the door and kept it open so the windows in our room won't bust through.
Now, this is a pretty substantial building that we rode out the hurricane in, and I've got to tell you, it received a substantial amount of damage. So that's got to mean that up here in the Beaumont area, a lot of homes and other structures that weren't built quite as well as this one have to have received even greater damage. But again, with a hurricane the size that Rita was, the real problem isn't so much the wind, it's the water that it drives up with it. So as we get further south of here, we're expecting to see, in addition to the wind damage, an awful lot of flooding. Tracy?
That's right. John Roberts in Beaumont, Texas. Flooding, the #1 cause of death after hurricanes. As we mentioned, there is more flooding in New Orleans thanks to Rita. Harry Smith is there, and he's joined by the police chief of New Orleans. Harry?
Yeah, thanks very much, Tracy, with the superintendent of police, Eddie Compass, and we've been having a lot of conversations together here over the last month or so. First things first, how did the city fare last night?
We did very well. We had patrols throughout the city. We didn't have any really major instances. The water held to the lower ninth ward, so we don't have any major flooding. So we're really in good shape.
We saw the levee topped yesterday. There's water pouring into the lower ninth, and there was a concern that it might spread to other districts of the city. Is it just really restricted to that part?
Right now it's restricted, and we're hoping that, since the rain has stopped, it's going to recede. So, I think we're in pretty good shape right now.
Right.
But we have boats on standby just in case.
Now, I guess the good thing is this city is so, by and large, evacuated. I mean, the only folks here, as best as we can see, are cops and workmen.
Right, we didn't see any movement in the areas where we were patrolling last night, which was good. So people heeded the mayor's warning and everybody evacuated, So we feel very fortunate that there's no threat to human life in areas that's flooded.
What was it like yesterday when you saw this picture of the water coming over the levee? This city has been beat up so bad, has gone through so much in the last 4 weeks. When you saw that water coming over, what went through your mind, went through your heart?
Well, it caused me concern. I said, oh my God, not this again. But I had to suck it up. I got with Sheriff Harry Lee. He sent some boats over. We have to get back in that mind frame of search and rescue. So we got the boats, we staged our officers, and fortunately we didn't have to deploy, but we were ready.
Talk to me a little bit about the progress report, because just a week ago, if you went a mile and a half down Canal here, it was still underwater. The city is, other than the lower ninth, is basically dried out.
Right. I mean, the Corps and engineers and individuals who work have done a yeoman's job. I mean, it's incredible how fast the city has dried out. And as the city dries out, we disseminate our officers into the patrol patterns to keep the area safe.
And there really is a spirit around here. You can feel it of let's get going. Let's get it back together.
Right. My guys look at it. They've been through the hard part. I mean, we're getting regular meals. We have a place to sleep. So they're very resilient. They're very thankful for what they have. So they're ready to get this job done.
Superintendent, thank you so much. Good to see you. Good to see you again soon. All right. Let's go back to Russ.
Okay, Harry, thank you very much. The city of Houston was pretty much spared, at this point anyway, we believe, from Hurricane Rita. And just a few moments ago, the mayor of Houston, Mr. Bill White, spoke with reporters. Here's what he had to say.
Type of situation you saw and the nation learned from Katrina on both sides, where people would say, go to a big shelter, and you would have people mobbing a shelter where they were safer to shelter in place. The reports from the storm so far indicate that people who heeded our advice, who were capable of independent living, that Judge and I gave repeatedly to shelter in place, they did so.
CBS News correspondent John Blackstone is in Houston and has more for us now on what's going on there.
Houston's empty streets and freeways showed a city that had prepared for the worst. More than 1 million people heeded the call to evacuate. What's it like to see Houston like this, with no people?
It's kind of eerie sometimes.
Government officials vowed this time they'd be ready. Before the storm arrived, the National Guard moved into the city on standby. FEMA sent trucks loaded with emergency supplies. But then Rita turned toward the east, and by early morning, the hurricane warning for Houston was downgraded to a tropical storm warning. On the lonely streets, we found one resident still looking for a hurricane party.
There's no one left. Everybody's sitting on the freeway somewhere between here and Dallas going, damn, we should have stayed in Houston.
Okay, what's your name, please?
Stephanie. Oh, man, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we lost the lights here.
Yeah, well.
Power's out here now. That's some excitement for you. There has been some wind damage, and emergency crews were called to an apartment house fire that may be storm-related. But there's none of the destruction Houston had feared.
That was correspondent John Blackstone in Houston. We now want to go back to Beaumont, Texas, and speak with Mickey Bertrand, the fire chief there. Chief, good morning to you. Chief Bertrand? Chief Mickey Bertrand of Beaumont, Texas. Are you there with us, sir?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Russ Mitchell, New York City. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Chief, what is the current situation in Beaumont?
Well, we're just now being able to go out and take an assessment, and we've got naturally a lot of trees down. We've had a few structure fires this morning. We can't get our apparatus to them because of all the trees across the road. And even when we do get to them, we don't have any water right now except what we've got on our tanks. And so we're trying to unload some, we've got all our city assets on 2 Navy ships here in the Port of Beaumont. We're unloading those at this time so we can go out and take care of business.
Chief, I can imagine you're getting all sorts of calls from residents today. What is the nature, for the most part, of those calls?
Well, a lot of them are the houses, the trees on houses. We've had a few people that, are trapped. We're trying to get to those too, and our big deal right now is just trying to get our apparatus out so we can respond to some of these calls.
Conditions, of course, as you were saying, too dangerous to get outside in any large portion at this point. What are you hearing from forecasters? When do you think you're going to be able to get out and really assess what's going on?
Well, we're doing that at this time, and we've got a few vehicles out. We've kept a few reserves, off the ships and in one of our main stations here, and those are the ones that are out right now. We did make it to one of the houses that was on fire, but it was pretty much in the ground by the time we got to it. We're just trying to watch out for exposures at this point. We've got a lot of down power lines, and we have to go around and take all these detoured routes to try to get to these houses, and it's not very simple.
I see. Now, I posed this question to the fire chief in Lake Charles, Louisiana earlier. I'll ask you as well. For those folks around the country who are watching this, who have relatives in Beaumont, Texas, what would you like them to know about what's happening?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't hear that.
No problem, Chief. Let me ask you, for people around the country who are watching this broadcast right now, what do you want them to know about what's going on in Beaumont right now?
Well, the first thing is that whenever an evacuation is called, we really are serious about that, try to get our people out. And I tell you, a great majority of ours did leave, but there's still some that decided they'd stay, and now it's created an extra burden on us to try to get to these people, check on their welfare. We did have one young man that a tree fell on a couple hours ago, and injured his back, his leg. He's okay, and the people he was with was able to get him back inside the house. We gave him medical direction over the phone, and of course we're making our way to them too.
Glad he is okay. Fire Chief Mickey Bertrand of the Beaumont, Texas Fire Department. Again, sir, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck to you today.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Take care.
As we can see there, the storm has already caused so much damage, and it's not over yet. For the latest on the storm's position and what it's likely to do from here, we turn to CBS News hurricane analyst Brian Norcross at WFOR in Miami. Brian?
Hi, good morning, Tracy. The storm, the center of the storm, the worst of it, is moving north now, and it's going to slowly get better there in the Beaumont area. Let's go right to the radar here, and I can bring you up to date. Here you see the reds. That's where the worst of it is. The other part of the storm we don't see on radar and we haven't heard anything about because it's probably still too dangerous is the water. And we have the expectation this entire southern part of Louisiana is underwater now, and that water is being held there by these southerly winds, and it's going to be there for much of the day and only slowly recede. So it's going to be some time before we hear about coastal Louisiana. Going close up, in fact, that water may be up here close to the southern part of Lake Charles there. But the worst of the weather is up here in Jasper right now. That's what's left of the eye wall, and it's moving on up to the north. The weather is not so bad over here in extreme southwestern Louisiana. Over by New Orleans, the bad weather has moved away. These strong bands are west of the city and moving north, and there may be some tornadoes in those bands, by the way. And over in the Houston area, still some showers left, but indeed their weather is going to improve dramatically here over the next hour or so. The next big concern is the heavy rain. We'll talk more about that coming up later here on the early show this morning. All right, back to you in New York.
All right, Brian Norcross at WFOR. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Good news, he said there, it's going to improve dramatically, he said, in the next few hours. So the first time we've heard those words.
Yes, that's encouraging. But I also heard a few hours. So
that is true. That is true.
A little bit left to go.
Time now to check in with Ira Jo Fisher, who has a look at the national map. Good morning, Ira Jo.
Good morning, Russ. Good morning, Tracy. But really, the only rowdy weather about which to talk is a line of thunderstorms along the northern tier of the nation. Look at the west coast. Plenty of sunshine. Cooler in the northwest, only in the 60s, but hot in the southwest. That's a look at the nation's weather. And now here's a closer look at the weather for your weekend.
All right, thanks, Ira Jo. Good morning, everyone. A mix of sun and clouds for our Saturday, just a breezy shower, a possibility. 89 for our high temperature. If you're boating, winds out of the east, they'll be pretty strong. Seas running at 2 to 4 feet, just a moderate chop in our bay. Another beautiful day for tomorrow. Plenty of hot sunshine, just a quick shower. 90 for our high temperature. Have a great weekend.
That's the latest on the national weather, Tracy.
Thanks, Ira. Taking a look at this morning's headlines. 24 hurricane evacuees from a Houston nursing home were killed Friday when the bus they were riding on caught fire and exploded. It happened south of Dallas on a highway jammed with people fleeing the storm. Officials say it appears mechanical problems, possibly with the brakes, caused the fire. Then the patient's oxygen tanks began exploding. In other news, Vice President Dick Cheney undergoes surgery today at George Washington Hospital to repair an aneurysm in his right knee. The bulge in a blood vessel was discovered during a routine checkup. He'll have a similar operation later on an aneurysm behind his left knee. The aneurysms are not considered life-threatening, and doctors say the surgery is minimally invasive. Meanwhile, the rest of the nation's capital is bracing for tens of thousands of people turning out for various rallies this weekend. The main event is an anti-war rally, along with corresponding counter-demonstrations and a march and a concert on the Mall and around the White House. A Rutherford, New Jersey couple have the only winning ticket in last Friday's $258 million Mega Millions lottery. Helen and Harold Lerner went public Friday with their big news. When they heard the winning ticket was bought in their hometown, they really didn't think they had won.
I was on the porch, Helen was inside talking through a little screen window, and I read off the numbers, and she said to me, "Harold, I think we are millionaires."
The Lerners chose the cash option and will get a lump sum of $156 million before taxes. They say they will donate some of their winnings to the hurricane victims. Just ahead, after a slow response to Hurricane Katrina, what is FEMA doing differently this time around? We'll hear from the new man in charge. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Everybody wants a great deal on a new car, but not any dealership can deliver. Well, at Esserman International Volkswagen, you want it. You got it. You want the all-new redesigned 2006 Jetta 4-door for just $199 a month? You got it. You want it with CD player, side airbags, power windows, and locks, and more? You got it. You want scheduled maintenance included for the entire first year of your lease? You got it. Esserman International Volkswagen. You want it. We got it. So get it.
Esserman Internacional. Pegadito al International Mall.
Fact: millions of germs thrive on your kitchen surfaces, but if you're cleaning them with an overused sponge, you might as well be doing this. Fact: Lysol sanitizing wipes are unbeatable because they kill 99.9% of germs in 30 seconds. No leading wipe cleans better. Forget sponges. No wonder moms trust Lysol. Life demands Lysol. That's a fact.
Breast cancer is one of the most common forms of cancer in women. I'm CBS 4 health specialist Dr. Sean Kniff.
And I'm CBS 4's Lori Stein. As a breast cancer survivor, I know we can all make a big difference in the fight against this deadly disease.
So please join us for the very special Susan G. Komen 10th anniversary Race for the Cure.
It's Saturday, October 15th at Bayfront Park in downtown Miami.
Remember, early detection is key to surviving breast cancer.
So register early, and together we can all race for the cure.
Let's take you to the scene. Video you'll see only on 4. Breaking news. For all our coverage,
Story you saw first on 4.
keep it on CBS 4 News.
FEMA came under a lot of criticism for its slow response to Hurricane Katrina. This time around, FEMA says it is ready to roll. Earlier this morning, I spoke with FEMA's acting director, David Paulison, and asked him where provisions and troops are positioned.
Well, right now the troops we have them scattered all over southeastern Texas and in Louisiana. They're in safe places. They're doing very well. They're hunkering down, pretty much just waiting for the winds to die down until they can start responding.
Kind of take us to the next 12 to 24 hours. What is your mission at that point?
Well, our first mission is going to be life and safety. We want our urban search and rescue teams on the ground. We want the Coast Guard helicopters in the air, doing surveys, find out if there's people that we need to take out of harm's way. That's number one. Number two is to start moving our food, water, and ice, and our other commodities into place where people need it. We're going to do a survey, see where the damage is, see where the need is, and then start moving as quickly as we can.
Now, some 3 million people evacuated the hurricane zone this time. How many people do you think are still left there?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how many people are left. They seem to be in pretty good shape, though. We have to wait until the winds die down, until we can get our planes in the air and our urban search and rescue teams out in the field and see exactly what we have.
We saw those pictures earlier of New Orleans yesterday. Again, the 9th Ward flooded after being flooded 3 weeks ago from a little bit of rain, a lot of rain that came into New Orleans. At this point, what do you have to do in New Orleans to shore up things there?
Well, the Army Corps of Engineers is on the scene. They're assessing the situation. I talked to Admiral Thad Allen this morning early. He is waiting for the winds to go down so he can personally go out and look at those levees and see exactly what we have to do to shore them up and then start pumping the water back out again.
Mr. Paulson, I know that you are new on the job, but what is FEMA doing differently this time around as opposed to Katrina less than 3 weeks ago?
Well, I'm really not even focusing on what happened in Katrina. I'm looking at what we have to do from here on out. I had 30 years of fire emergency experience and emergency management experience. So I'm dealing with this storm how I think we should deal with it. And we're putting people on the ground, we're putting troops on the ground, and probably as important as anything else, we've got a communications plan in place where we have people with our local officials, people with the state officials to make sure that we understand what the needs are and they understand what our capabilities are.
Well, let me ask you this. As you said, the trucks will be rolling in the next 12 to 24 to 48 hours. Why are you so confident that that's going to happen this time when it didn't happen a few weeks ago?
Well, again, I'm going to deal with what this storm is doing. We'll look at Katrina down the road, and we'll have to look at that very seriously, but now's not the time to do that. We're trying to manage expectations. We know that it's going to be difficult to get in some areas. People need to stay in their homes. Sometimes it's 12, 24, 36 hours before you can get areas cleared out to move in. The local emergency responders are ready. Our urban search and rescue teams are ready. The Coast Guard is ready to put helicopters in the air, and we will do so as soon as it's safe to do that.
Okay. David Paulson with FEMA. Thank you so much, and good luck to you. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Up next this morning, the latest on the destructive force of Hurricane Rita. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Martha Stewart was the queen of perfection.
It's a good thing.
Until the scandal.
Didn't you sell your income stock?
I am not going to jail.
Put her behind bars.
I was told I'd be given a job. I had some thoughts on the idea.
Why don't you keep them to yourself?
The floors, they're beyond disgusting. You got yourself a job.
Sybil Shepherd. Martha behind bars. It wasn't such a good thing. A world premiere movie. CBS Sunday.
We're clearing out the 2005 Mercury models, so time is short to join the Lincoln Mercury family and pay the same low clearance prices we pay. Through October 3rd, get our model year-end discounts on Mountaineer with seating for up to 7, the Compact Mariner, Innovative Montego, Spacious Grand Marquis, Value Pack Sable, and Versatile Monterey. Now drive Montego for a low family plan price of just $21,454. No hassles, no gimmicks, and no waiting, because these discounts end October 3rd.
Tens of thousands of evacuees in Texas took refuge from Rita in shelters early on. CBS News correspondent Trish Regan is at one shelter in Huntsville, Texas. Trish, good morning again.
Good morning again, Ross. Well, this is the area that a lot of people from the Houston area came to evacuate the hurricane. They came here anticipating that it was going to be a really significant storm. As we now know, it really didn't hit the Houston area that badly, nor did it hit so badly here in Huntsville. We've got a little bit of wind, a little bit of rain right now, but that's pretty much the extent of it. Just to give you some idea, take a look over here. This is something that we noticed yesterday, rather an unusual thing to see a coffee pot on top of the hood of a car. Well, sure enough, this morning it is still there. So that gives you some indication of how the wind is really not what many had anticipated, at least in this area. A lot of people I talked to last night were feeling very desperate. They were very stressed. They had spent 2 or 3 days just trying to get here, and they want to go home. So many people said they would wake up in the morning. If the storm wasn't bad, they'd head back. The problem now is, will they run into the same issues, the same traffic issues that they faced when they tried to get here? We'll be watching for that today, Russ.
Okay, Trish, let me ask you something. You know, we saw these pictures earlier this week of this massive traffic jam, people, getting out of Houston and other places to get to shelters. What are some of the frustrations that people there are telling you about, just how they got to where they are today?
Well, keep in mind, Huntsville is only about an hour north of Houston. So people told me they spent 2.5 or 3 days in their cars just trying to get here. They were stuck in traffic. It was like a parking lot. People were running out of gas. Cars were overheating. So as you can imagine, it was a very desperate situation for them. The problem we could be running into now is that we'll see the same issues as they try to get back into the city of Houston because there's so many people.
You know, you go to some of these shelters and people can't wait to get home. What are officials telling them about when they can go home?
I think they're waiting to see right now just exactly what the damage might be like in Houston. From initial reports, we understand it's not very bad, but it's a little bit of a wait and see right now. As people get the word, they most likely will start heading back.
Okay, Trish Regan in Huntsville. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.
Up ahead, the very latest on where Hurricane Rita is headed as we check in with our correspondents along the Gulf Coast. Plus, Harry Smith will have more from New Orleans.
A lot coming up. This is the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Now, live. This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
And good morning, South Florida. The latest now on Hurricane Rita. With the sun now up, we are getting a look at how the Gulf states fared the storm's landfall.
CBS 4's Brian Andrews is live in Houston with details on how Texas is doing after Rita. Good morning, Brian.
Hi, Jade and Jason. Houston fared pretty well, but Beaumont and Port Arthur out there in the east, well, that's another story. Let's go right to videotape from the Hotel Elegante, which is anything but this morning. The place trashed as this storm came barreling through Beaumont just after 3:30 in the morning Eastern time. The windows were blown out. The lobby was flooded. We're told that parts of the beams and other parts of the structure have been exposed. There are people who need rescue in that part of Texas, and already search and rescue teams have gone out in that community and are doing their best to help people because it would appear Beaumont, Port Arthur, and Jasper got nailed as Rita came in. Now, we take you to live pictures from Houston. We can tell you they're telling folks, if you want to come home today, wait. We still have a little bit of a mess to clean up here, down power lines, some tree limbs, but nothing that they can't handle here in the Lone Star State. Reporting live from Houston this morning, I'm Brian Andrews, CBS 4 News.
And while Houston is taking that breather, we'll find out where Hurricane Rita is at this point with our storm specialist, Brian Norcross. Good morning, Brian.
Actually, I think we're going to go over to Aaron Coakley.
In South Florida, weather looking just great this morning, by the way. Temperatures in the lower 80s, 83 the common reading from Miami International, all the way up towards Pompano Beach. Not really seeing much on radar at all. Could see a few showers pushing in on ocean breeze. 89 for our high temperature today. A mix of sun and clouds throughout the afternoon, just a passing shower possibility. Have a good one.
We're back in 30 minutes.
Try Chicken Kitchen's whole chicken special for just $6.99. Only for a limited time. Chicken Kitchen. Fresh, healthy, simply delicious.
When you travel, you never know what kind of bed you'll get. Until now. Introducing the Sleep Number bed, exclusively at Radisson. The only bed that lets you control firmness and comfort with the touch of a button. For a perfect night's sleep, every stay. Find your Sleep Number at Radisson Hotels and Resorts and stay your own way.
Right now, you'll save thousands with Ford employee pricing. Plus, you'll receive a brand new color TV, but only at Armstrong Ford of Homestead. New 2005 F-150 Explorer Expedition and receive a brand new color TV.
John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, the public did not know. The details, the rumors, the truth. Next, Oprah.
Monday at 4 on 4.
Hurricane Rita is pounding the Texas-Louisiana coast with 100-mile-an-hour winds. And even though they've lost speed since the storm came ashore earlier this morning, Rita remains a powerful force. We will get the latest from our CBS News correspondent set up all along the Texas and Louisiana coast. And also Harry Smith is in New Orleans. Welcome back to the Saturday Early Show. It is 9:30 on the East Coast. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Tracy Smith. We're going to get the latest on the people who were evacuated ahead of Rita's arrival as we check in at one of the many shelters. Plus, we'll talk about the health hazards they're facing during the hurricane and in the weeks to come. But first, let's get right to the headlines on Hurricane Rita. As we've been reporting, Rita is now a Category 2 storm with top winds of 100 miles per hour and a 20-foot storm surge, which is expected to cause extensive flooding. Nearly 750,000 homes and businesses in Texas have lost electricity. Russ?
Rita's heaviest rains, 3 to 4 inches per hour, fell in Lake Charles, Louisiana, a town right smack in the hurricane zone. The town already had 8 inches of rain more than 2 hours before the storm's landfall. Jay Levine of our Chicago station WBBM TV has details now from Lake Charles. Jay, good morning.
You know, the wind is blowing at gale force. Still kind of iffy conditions here. Gale hurricane force. We've got going over the pretty dicey. Law enforcement just out now to start to can show you some of it. As you look behind you, houses here in Lake Charles. We're right off the lake. We're about 5 miles from the Gulf of Mexico. It's a situation which all night has been very, very tenuous. We had winds of well over 100 miles an hour for most of the night. In a bunker, a 9 here in Lake Charles, which was shuddering itself at the force of the wind. Windows blown up. They'll go right through you, and that's why people are being very, very careful about going onto the streets this morning. There's another big hunk of it, but perhaps the most dramatic sight we want to show you, and we want to be a little careful because we heard a bang, a big bang in the middle of the night. That's what it was. Somebody's sheet metal awning wrapped around the power pole in front of the 911 center. That's the kind of thing that's been going on all night. Now, we just got back from a tour of the area. Found water in the streets of Lake Charles, Louisiana. We found broken windows on buildings, apartment buildings, siding down, canopies down, but fortunately, no storm surge which they feared would inundate this entire area. Somebody said yesterday they feared that Lake Charles would be gone in the morning. Well, that hasn't happened. Lake Charles appears to have weathered this pretty well. There are big problems on Interstate 10, the main route which runs all the way from Texas, actually all the way from California, all the way to the East Coast. That's the main route. An 18-wheeler jackknifed at about 10 o'clock last night. The weather was cut off. A barge hit a main entry route to Lake Charles over the lakes here, and so that route is now closed. And so everybody is still out surveying the damage this morning. It appears Lake Charles has done pretty well, but the bridges and at the airport as well. Russ, back to you.
Okay, Jay Levine in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I want to apologize to folks at home for what's going on. The pictures going in and out. As you can understand, they are in the middle of a hurricane zone. Winds coming at them all sorts of directions. Rain. I am surprised sometimes we even get a picture or sound out of there to begin with.
You're right. You're right.
Great job by our correspondents in the field. Definitely.
And that's the latest from the hurricane region. Let's go back over to Ira Joe Fisher, who has a look at the national weather map. Ira?
All right, let's get the latest on the hurricane. 100-mile-an-hour winds, but it is slowly falling apart. However, as this process goes on, could spawn some tornadoes in the area. Severe thunderstorms are a given, and the rain will continue 3 to 5 inches an hour in some places, and a total of over 2 feet of rain over the next couple of days, so it will continue to be a soaking. We also have a cold front along the northern tier. It will scatter thunderstorms. It's absolutely lovely in the eastern part of the country, partly cloudy, completely autumn. Temperatures are going to climb up into the 70s, and the west coast is going to be cooler in the northwest. We'll see highs there in the 50s and 60s. Going to be hot and dusty in the southwest. Highs are going to climb up into the 100-degree range. And again, the heavy rain continues in the Texas, Louisiana, Gulf Coast areas. That's a look at the nation's weather. And now here's a closer look at the weather for your weekend.
All right, thanks, Ira Joe. Good morning, everyone. A beautiful morning outside CBS 4 Weather Control. Temperature 85 degrees right now. You can see plenty of blue sky. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds throughout the afternoon. 89 for our high temperature. Can't rule out a breezy shower. If you're boating, winds out of the east about 10 to 15. Hot sunshine for our Sunday. Just a quick shower. 90. Have a good weekend.
And that's the latest on your Saturday weather. Tracy, Russ.
Thank you, Ira Joe.
Thanks, Ira. We'll have more on Hurricane Rita, what damage she's caused, and where she's headed right after this.
You really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I got you right. You really got me. You really
Fall fashion has arrived. It's all inside JCPenney.
Exciting news from Allegra. Allegra D 24-hour. Find out what all the excitement's about. Ask your doctor today about Allegra D 24-hour. You need to know about it.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
At the Weebly Wobbly Treehouse, little ones can explore and take their imaginations for a spin.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Discover the fun of the Weebly Wobbly Treehouse and the whole Weebles world from Play School.
Let's play.
Is watching your weight always on your mind? Try Quaker's delicious new weight control oatmeal. 7 grams of protein and 6 grams of fiber help fill you up and start your day
Satisfied.
weight off your mind.
My single most important accessory? My hair color. Garnier Nutrice Nourishing Color Cream. Rich, luscious, nourishing color. Because nourished hair means better color. And only Nutrice nourishes with grapeseed and avocado oils. So hair takes color better and holds it longer. Root to tip. And grays, not in here. So frame that face in rich, fabulous color. Garnier Nutrice. Nourished hair, better color. Garnier.
Bertolli! Bertolli!
Why go out for great Italian when there's Bertolli frozen dinners? Savor plump shrimp scampi and linguine al dente, served with roasted red peppers, all in a luscious garlic sauce inspired by Italy's top chefs. Just sauté and serve. Now you don't have to be an Italian chef
Bertolli!
to be an Italian chef. Bertolli frozen dinners. Try the whole menu.
Teachers are so important because they can really impact our kids for the future.
Their role in my life went far past them just being teachers and coaches. They were almost like father figures to me. Go to jointheteam.com to nominate your NFL Teacher of the Year.
On Friday, 24 hurricane evacuees from a Houston nursing home were killed when the bus they were riding on caught fire and exploded. This all happened on a Dallas highway, jam-packed with cars fleeing Hurricane Rita. It was incredibly dramatic footage. You're looking at some of it right now. KTVT-TV Dallas cameraman Ryan Kimmel was there, and he managed to shoot all of this burning bus video from the helicopter that he was riding in. He's joining us now to give a first-hand account. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning.
Talk about what you first saw when you came upon the scene.
Well, the scene developed very quickly. We first arrived right as the rear end of the bus was catching fire underneath. As soon as we circled around to the other side, the next thing we knew, the entire bus was fully engulfed. As soon as we pulled up on the scene, you could see someone busting out windows, trying to drag people out. People were being pulled out, dragged all the way to the median just to get away from the fire as fast as they could. Flames were just shooting out from the roof of the car, or the bus, excuse me. And there were a few explosions, and they were so loud that we actually heard and felt the explosions from the helicopter, and that is just a rare situation.
Oh my goodness. Could you tell, obviously this was in a jam-packed freeway, could you tell that there were obviously life-saving efforts going on? Were ordinary citizens jumping in to help as well?
It was very dark at that moment. I believe the bus driver was breaking the windows, and I know for a fact that few of the passengers that were stuck on the road, they wanted to jump in and help, but they thought it was an 18-wheeler. They weren't sure what was the cargo that was in the back. They just weren't sure of the situation. I know that a couple of the first police officers that responded were there to help pull people out as well.
What's amazing here is that there were so many, when you look at these flames, that there were lives saved in this. How many people managed to make it out?
I believe half. I'm not sure the exact number. I believe 24 did not make it, and I believe, if I can recall correctly, 21 did escape the bus.
You know, I want to get your take on this. In Katrina, the tragedy was that the elderly really were the ones to suffer. And here in Rita, even before Rita hit, once again, it's our most vulnerable, the elderly, that took casualties. Talk about that.
Well, for a long time, we didn't realize who was on that bus. We had an idea that they were evacuees because of the size of the bus. It was so dark at 6 o'clock in the morning, we just didn't know for a long time. And as soon as we found out that it was full of elderly evacuees, my heart just dropped because it was the worst imaginable situation.
Have you been continuing your job as the storm approached and hit land today?
Well, we worked up until about 6:30 yesterday. We were grounded, at least for now. Right now, we're not experiencing a whole lot of weather. The wind's picking up a little bit, but we're just on standby right now in case they need us.
All right, and maybe that's the good news coming out of this after you've seen so much tragedy, that the storm perhaps was not as bad in some areas as expected. Thanks
Yes,
so
that's
much.
correct.
Thanks, Ryan Kimball, KTVT-TV in Dallas. Thank you. This hurricane season is causing a great deal of stress and anxiety. So up next, we're going to learn some ways to cope, whether you're in the hurricane zone or you're just watching it from afar. This is the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Are you listening to your heart? You should. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Do something good for your heart. Smart Start Healthy Heart, the only national cold cereal with ingredients that may help lower both blood pressure and cholesterol as part of a healthy lifestyle. For a healthy heart, start here.
Makeup meltdown? I don't think so.
New Infallible, L'Oreal's first never-fail makeup that fights the 5 signs of makeup meltdown. Infallible hides blemishes, ends rub-off, stops shine, combats signs of fatigue, fights heat and humidity for 16 hours of beautiful skin. New Infallible from L'Oreal.
Morning, Tiger.
Hey, Tiger.
Is your cat part of the family? Then try Meowmix Indoor Formula, which has specially balanced nutrition for a healthy indoor cat. Meowmix Indoor Formula.
Meow.
Sometimes you can fix it with a kiss. Sometimes a hug will do the trick. But when her fever spikes, that's the time for medicine with muscle. Children's Motrin.
The brand pediatricians recommend most to bring high fever down fast and keep it down for up to 8 hours.
Sometimes all it takes is your attention. But for high fever, it takes Children's Motrin. Medicine with muscle. Now in new Tropical Punch.
Take this pale opaque and let some light go through. Till one better comes, there goes the sun.
Dinner time confessions from Lean Cuisine.
Last night I had a salad and a tub of vanilla chip swirl. I won my own private pie eating contest.
I cleaned out my cookie drawer. I had roast chicken portobello with a vegetable rice medley followed by sweet cherries and decadent chocolate sauce. It was one of those new dinners with dessert from Lean Cuisine.
Introducing 30% more food and dessert from Lean Cuisine.
Martha Stewart was the queen of perfection.
It's a good thing.
Until the stock scandal put her behind bars.
I was told I'd be given a job. 25 cents an hour.
Sybil Shepherd. Martha behind bars. It wasn't such a good thing.
Martha was a bad girl.
A world premiere movie, CBS Sunday.
There There is no way to measure the amount of stress experienced by the millions of Americans who lived through Hurricane Katrina and those who are now dealing with Hurricane Rita. Robin Goodman is a clinical psychologist and has some advice for those folks and anyone with friends or relatives in the hurricane region, or anyone who's watching this unfold on TV. We talked about this. Welcome.
Right.
I just saw you a couple of weeks ago because we were talking about the effects of Hurricane Katrina on all of our psyches. Now, Rita, we're back again. First, people who had to evacuate Katrina and now have had to evacuate Rita and are dealing with that, how can they cope?
Well, you know, first of all, they have to realize whatever their experience is most likely normal. They were just coming out of that, you know, terror and the fear and the impact phase and starting to recover, and now they're kind of hit again, just like the environment is. What they need to do is be careful about their expectations. They also want to make sure that they connect with those other people around them. Now, there should be some sense of camaraderie, and also now to start looking for those positive signs of hope and not go too far into the future. So it's what can be my goal today, for the next hour, for the next 2 hours. And the other thing is, surprisingly enough, maybe help someone else, because that will make you feel better, as well as when you really need it, access help for yourself.
I noticed that down at the convention center during the aftermath of Katrina, the people who were helping others seemed to be able to get through it. It did something to them psychologically that kind of moved them forward. What about the people who watched Katrina happen on TV and now have had to evacuate themselves for the first time?
Well, what they want to do is be careful, because there's been this anticipatory panic among them. So what they want to do is think about their current situation, assess what's going on, and also look at some of those lessons they've learned. So you want to make sure you have your family near you, you want to have good communication, you want to get the right kind of information from people, and you want to really focus on the here and now and your absolute immediate needs, physical needs, recreation, and again, be patient.
We were just looking at some dramatic pictures of the rescues during the aftermath of Katrina. Even people who weren't directly affected saw those images on TV, have seen the reporting, there they are, have seen the reporting on Rita and Rita's path and Rita's possible damage. How do you cope with all of those feelings?
Again, people have to realize that they are going to be affected too. We've learned this from all sorts of disasters, traumas.
And that's
just
normal,
watching.
even if you're watching.
Very normal. You get to feel overwhelmed, sad, and start to feel doomed, maybe angry, somewhat isolated. You may feel relieved that you're not there, but then also helpless that you want to do something. So, of course, do something if you can and if you want to, but then also try to get some normalcy in your life. Don't watch TV all day, because you know what, this isn't happening
Don't turn
everywhere.
it off now, but don't watch it all day.
Not all day, kind of maybe schedule times when you want to get updates, and also, again, stay connected and take care of yourself physically as well as emotionally.
One of the things that I think is hard is, how do you gain a sense of control when you're dealing with Mother Nature, things that are really out of your control?
Interesting. Some of the things we found is you really have to separate out what you can control and what you can't. Because if you only focus on everything you can't, it is overwhelming, depressing. You start to feel very hopeless. So you think about, what can I do today? Maybe for your neighbor, check on a neighbor. What can you do for your family? Do you have a communication plan? How do you take care of each other? And also maybe take time and pay attention to what you do every day.
Are there some behaviors that we should look for that are destructive, that maybe you need to seek outside help for?
Yeah, the biggest problem when there's trauma is, again, anxious reactions, depressive reactions, and those trauma reactions. So what you want to do is, people have those reactions and then they do destructive things, like they're sleeping all day, or they're not eating, or they're angry and irritable. And then to manage that, they then add in very destructive kind of mechanisms, such as drinking or eating too much, or, you know, doing very self-defeating behaviors.
So you need to look for those warning signs and maybe at some point seek outside help.
Yes, and when it's interfering with life and work and getting along with people, go get some help.
All right, Robin Goodman, good advice. Thanks so much.
Sure.
Take care. Up next, answers to a question a lot of people have been asking: why are we having so many hurricanes? You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Work on that left hand.
Thanks for the dress, Mom.
Simple, everyday moments can be the perfect time to talk to your kids about not smoking, so you don't have to plan a big discussion.
Look, there's a dragonfly on one of the posters.
Just your leg? Yeah.
A little moment will do just fine. Talk to your kids about not smoking.
Smoking cigarettes can hurt your game too.
They'll listen.
Don't worry, Dad. I won't.
For conversation starters, log on to philipmorrisusa.com.
We're having fun out in the son. We're such a great team. Being a dad is awesome.
Dad, you're the greatest. Hey.
Wow, that looks cool.
What?
Make your ideal trip a reality on Expedia with extra savings when you book your flight and hotel together.
Expedia.com. Not one of these allergy medicines can give you long-lasting seasonal allergy relief without the risk of drowsiness. But Allegra 180 can. For people 12 and over, side effects alone may include headache, cold, or backache. Long-lasting Allegra. The relief goes on.
Introducing Whims, tempting bits of chocolate and nuts in a crunchy cookie cluster. Life's more interesting when you live by your whims. New from Pepperidge Farm. Remember what's good.
Thank you, Bob. That was extraordinarily enlightening. And now I am honored to present our next speaker. She is a real class act, insightful, tenacious, and authority on our business. It is my privilege to introduce this special lady, Catherine Nolan.
New Tide to Go. It's Tide to the rescue.
When I have a cold sore, I wish I could put my life on hold. But now, I don't have to.
Aveeno introduces a clinically proven way to treat cold sore symptoms fast. New Advanced Relief Cold Sore Treatment, an exclusive formula with natural propolis that starts working on contact to improve the condition of cold sores up to 3.5 days faster.
Some things just can't wait.
For healthy, beautiful lips, new Advanced Relief Cold Sore Treatment, only from dermatologist-recommended Aveeno, the leader in active naturals.
You take care of him. Now you can reward yourself with delicious latte creations. Something decidedly different from Coffee Mate. That turns coffee into a frothy and well-deserved latte.
You're welcome. Love you too.
Nestle Coffee Mate Latte Creations. Coffee's most rewarding perfect mate.
It is not our imagination. We are seeing more hurricanes than a decade or two ago. Experts say they've been predicting a period of increased hurricane activity that may be with us for a while.
We're now in a very active hurricane era. Last year was very active. The year before that was very active. This active hurricane era began in 1995. Since 1995, 9 of the last 11 hurricane seasons have been above normal.
Dr. Jerry Bell is a NOAA seasonal hurricane forecaster. He says hurricane activity comes in cycles that can last several decades. It seems Mother Nature has mood swings.
Previous active hurricane era was during the 1950s and 1960s. And then we were pretty inactive for about a 25-year period from 1970 to 1994, and now we're back in an active hurricane era.
For example, in the 50s and 60s, the Gulf Coast was hit hard and often as storms like Audrey, Donna, Betsy, and Camille came ashore. In the 70s and 80s, that same region had only one major hurricane, Frederick. But since 1990, the number of big hurricanes in the Gulf is up again, and there's no end in sight.
We can expect continued high levels of hurricane activity and high levels of hurricane landfalls for the next decade or perhaps even longer.
Why? Bell says hurricane cycles are primarily driven by rainfall patterns in Africa and the Amazon basin.
Turns out that those rainfall patterns tend to last for 20 to 30 years at a time. As a result, so do the wind and air pressure patterns over the Atlantic that control hurricane activity.
But there are other factors as well, like warm water, which hurricanes feed on. Sea surface temperatures have gone up, but scientists point out those temperatures go through cycles as well. And right now, we're in a warm cycle. Still, many in the field believe global warming may at least be a contributing factor to increased temperatures.
The water temperature is quite essential to the strength of a hurricane. It actually only takes maybe 2 to 4 degrees Fahrenheit to be the difference between being able to support a Category 3 hurricane and a Category 5 hurricane. So whether it's global warming, the cycles, or just a hot summer, those little bit of increases in temperature can mean a big difference in how severe these storms are.
If I live in one of these areas that are susceptible to hurricanes, how concerned should I be in the next 10, 20 years?
I would be very concerned, and as far as Americans love being near the beach, and as far as we have severe weather that's constantly threatening these coastlines, it's kind of a teeter-totter that we'll be living with some time.
By the way, Rita is the 17th named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, making this the 4th busiest season on record. CBS hurricane analyst Brian Norcross joins us now from WFR in Miami to talk about what we should expect this season and next. And Brian, before we get into the causes of hurricanes and whatnot, let me ask you to talk about this year. Are we in what is considered the heart of the hurricane season?
Well, the center of the season has just passed, Russ, but I hasten to add that October here in South Florida is traditionally the busiest hurricane month. And also, the storms that have formed this year have tended to form close to the U.S. Just think about Katrina and Rita. They didn't form way out in the ocean, as we saw last year. And in October, that's when storms generally form close to the U.S. So we have some thought that that the heart may continue for some time.
I see. I'm sure you, living in Miami, get this question all the time from folks. Why is it so bad this year? At least it seems that way. How do you answer that question?
Well, I refer them back to the late 40s here, where we had 5 major hurricanes in 6 years. In the late 20s, we had a mega hurricane called the Great Miami Hurricane, came in 1926, and then just up the coast, Palm Beach was wiped out, and maybe 3,000 people died in the Great 1928 Okeechobee Hurricane. So it has happened in the past. And also there was a year, Russ, 1893, when over 2,000 people were killed in South Carolina, over 2,000 people were killed in Louisiana, and a hurricane hit New York City all in the same year. So the hurricane events have happened, but the changes in media have made our perception of it different.
Brian Norcross, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Okay. I heard that from scientists this week as well. Now you have all this media out here talking about this. Plus, our memories are short. We forget these things.
That also helps warn people about the hurricane coming, so the casualties are lower than they were in the past.
That's true.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. We've got a lot more to come this morning. Stay with us. This is the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Now, live, this is CBS 4 News This Morning.
Hurricane Rita came ashore about 7 hours ago, and it seems the Gulf may have fared better than expected.
For more on that, now we're going to check in with CBS 4's Carrie Codd live in New Orleans this morning with the very latest from there. Carrie?
Well, we are beginning to see the sunshine here in New Orleans. As you look down Decatur Street here in the French Quarter, it is dry. Even the winds are subsiding. We do want to show you some flooding video, hopefully, that we just got back into the newsroom. These are some of the first pictures of the localized flooding here in the New Orleans area from those patched up levees that were breached during Hurricane Katrina. Several of the low-lying areas did get between 4 and 6 inches of floodwaters from Hurricane Rita, but the Army Corps of Engineers tells us that they do have it under control and that they believe they will be able to begin cleaning this up very shortly. We are waiting now for the local emergency management officials to come out, assess this area, assess the flooding, and begin to tell us when they can restart the re-entry program here to New Orleans. That's the latest here, live in New Orleans. Carrie Codd, CBS 4 News This Morning.
And thank you, Carrie. Great coverage there.
Meantime, Rita is still spinning along there along the Gulf states. We're going to check in with meteorologist Aaron Coakley for the very latest now. Aaron?
Yes, and we actually will have another advisory right before 11 a.m., so we'll bring that to you. Currently across the area, temperatures on the warm side, we're at about 83 at most spots. Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood coming in at 83. Same thing for Miami International Airport, and really not seeing much in the way of rainfall this morning. Pretty dry morning across the area. Could see a few spotty showers coming in on a breeze. 89 for our high temperature today. Looking pretty gorgeous throughout the day. Tonight, mild and breezy with just a spotty shower, and another nice one for tomorrow. Have a good one.
And thank you for joining us for this special extended coverage of Hurricane Rita.
Another update in 30 minutes.
Everybody wants a great deal on a new car, but not any dealership can deliver. Well, at Esserman International Kia, you want it, you got it. You want the all-new redesigned Kia Spectra starting from just $11,495? You got it. You want scheduled maintenance included for the entire first year of your lease? You got it. Esserman International Kia, you want it, we got it. So get it.
Esserman International, pegadito al International Mall.
At this point in my life, I only want to do things I'm passionate about. So when Rooms To Go asked me to create my own line of furniture, I was excited because I'm so passionate about my own home. And the more I learned about what Rooms to Go does and how much their customers trust them, I knew this partnership was going to be great. A perfect blend of fashion, design, and real value. You see the whole room. You can change it up or love it just the way it is. How great is that?
Cindy Crawford Home, exclusively at Rooms to Go.
Join Lisa Petrillo for Ocean Drive's Fall Fashion Review tonight at 7:30 on 4.
Good morning, I'm Tracy Smith. Rita spared the major cities and beat up some of the Gulf's oil refinery towns instead with 120-mile-per-hour winds and driving rains. As a Category 3 hurricane, it's now a 2, but still wreaking havoc on the Texas-Louisiana border and beyond. We'll have an update.
I'm Russ Mitchell. Fire in the midst of so much water. Historic buildings destroyed in Galveston, Texas, even as the city escaped Rita.
And I'm Harry Smith in New Orleans, where the second chapter of this hurricane season is almost as bad as the first. Water once again flooding into part of New Orleans. We'll have details early this Saturday morning, September 24th, 2005.
Good morning and welcome to the Saturday Early Show.
We're looking at destruction in southeast Texas and western Louisiana as Hurricane Rita is pounding the Gulf Coast. It is now 10 o'clock here on the East Coast, and the hurricane made landfall about 7 hours ago, just east of Sabine, Texas. Sabine Pass, Texas. Sabine, right? Sabine Pass, Texas. And while it seems that the cities of Houston and Galveston were spared the worst, this is still a powerful and dangerous storm, and extensive damage and flooding is expected.
Here's the latest on the hurricane. Rita is now a Category 2 storm with top winds of 100 miles per hour and a 20-foot storm surge, which is expected to cause extensive flooding. Nearly 750,000 homes and businesses in Texas have lost electricity. Rita's eye came ashore near the largely empty oil town of Beaumont, Texas, which took much of the brunt of the storm. CBS News correspondent John Roberts was there.
It was a long night along the upper Texas coast and well inland as Hurricane Rita plowed ashore. Doug Clifford, a reporter with the St. Petersburg Times, got a rude wake-up call at about 3 a.m. What was happening here?
I was laying on the bed, and all the windows blew in. Glass blew over me, basically blew me out of the bed, and I grabbed all my stuff and got out.
It was about 3:30 this morning that the eye wall from Hurricane Rita began to come ashore along the Texas Gulf Coast, packing with it winds of 120 miles an hour and a 15 to 20-foot storm surge. Even more than 20 miles inland, the damage began to be felt. This is our hotel in Beaumont, Texas, where the inside is now the outside. The windows let go shortly after the wind picked up, and it's been blowing through here ever since. You can see the contents of the lobby have been strewn about, and over here, which just a short time ago had maybe a little bit of dampness, there's now more than an inch of water. This is the type of damage we're going to see along a wide swath from Galveston all the way into Louisiana. For some people, it meant yet another rush to higher ground. Melanie Baker went through Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, evacuated to Beaumont to get away. This morning, we found her desperately checking up on her grandchildren, stuck in 2 hurricanes in less than a month.
No, it's not bad at all. We didn't accident. Nobody did. I'm just happy to see my children and my grandchildren is safe. We all safe. I hope everybody's safe.
Katrina Kirkland was on the 8th floor of the hotel. Now she's riding out the hurricane in the stairwell.
Both rooms right next to mine, the windows blew in, so my bathroom ceiling caved in. And then the door came open, my ears popped, and then we opened up the door and kept it open so the windows in our room won't bust through.
That was John Roberts in Beaumont, Texas. In New Orleans, just days after neighborhoods devastated by Hurricane Katrina had been pumped dry, floodwaters from Hurricane Rita are again making water waist deep in some areas. Harry Smith is with us again from New Orleans. Good morning again, Harry.
Yeah, good morning. And with an old friend of yours, Councilwoman Jackie Clarkson, who you did a great tour of the French Quarter with just, I don't know, maybe it's a week or 2 ago. It's all starting to run together a little bit. First things first, how did your city fare last night?
better than we had expected in some respects. And very sadly, our lower Ninth Ward got water again, and we're just heartbroken because they had the worst devastation initially, and we're just so anxious to let these people get on with their lives and get them back to some closure and start rebuilding, especially that part of the city. So it was heartbreaking, but
because this is one of the poorest sections of town. Some of these houses have been underwater for basically a month now.
well, it is one of our poor sections, but I wouldn't say it's the poorest. I mean, we're a city that has very mixed demographics everywhere throughout the city, and we don't identify parts of the city by rich and poor. It's just not our style.
Gotcha, gotcha. When you saw that water topping that levee yesterday, what went through your mind?
Well, I was scared to death it would be the whole city this time, because a little bit of it was spared last time, and coming in from a different side, this one could have been the whole city. So we were scared to death and just held our breath. So, but we're grateful that most of the city did survive, and the rebuilding continued. I mean, we didn't miss a beat even through this hurricane, with continuing the fussing around, getting back on track. And every part of the city we can rebuild fast means we rebuild the whole city very fast.
Yeah. I'm going to have Mario just spin around here a second. We're in front of the Crowne Plaza Hotel in New Orleans. There are work crews who are assembling here for work already. We got water drying equipment out in front of the building. This must be a very encouraging sign for you.
Oh, absolutely. And I drive as much of the city that is drivable every day that I can, and it's every day it's encouraging. I think we stopped maybe 24 hours for Hurricane Rita, and we're back on track.
Yeah. How was it for you last night? I mean, the storm was rolling in. The winds picked up yesterday afternoon. It was, you know, not like a hurricane, but it was some nasty weather here last night.
It was hurricane enough, and one part of my district that's had no flood the first time did have heavy wind damage, and so we were very fearful of wind damage again, but we survived without that. And of course, everyone worries about the whole city mostly, and we're only as good as our whole city, and that's very important to say. But the French Quarter, which is the front door, and we're anxious for it to open, fortunately...
Which is really right around the corner, yeah.
And it escaped again, fortunately, because we're anxious to get it in our CBD and our uptown going, too. Algiers is on track. We're ready to open CBD and French Quarter, get businesses back, commerce back, open uptown, and then go downriver and across our canal, and all of us will be ready then to rebuild the most precious part of our city that was the most hurt.
You know, it's interesting because we were talking with some of the folks locals here and saying you still can't get a beignet in New Orleans itself, but let me just show you some signs of civilization returning. We got hot Krispy Kreme donuts from Metairie this morning, so and that's just a couple miles away.
Well, you should have come to Algiers. We have the Tout de Suite coffee shop in Algiers Point that would have given you anything you want, but especially good coffee.
What should folks know as they see these pictures? They saw the pictures of the water coming back into New Orleans yesterday, and they're thinking, oh boy, there they go again. They're going to be lost.
No, not at all. That will not stop nor discourage total rebuilding. That will not slow us down. Do not, please do not even think that. Just say, those are tough guys, and just one more challenge and they'll do it again.
All right, Councilwoman, thank you so much. Always good to see you.
It's so nice to see you.
Do appreciate it.
Keep up the good work, getting the word out. New Orleans will be open for business before you can blink an eye.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go back to New York.
Thanks, Harry. Tell Councilwoman Clarkson that she owes me a beignet when the French Quarter opens. Russ?
Thanks, Tracy. CBS hurricane analyst Brian Norcross joins us now from our station WFOR-TV in Miami for a look at what to expect from Rita from here on in. Brian?
All right, Russ, let's go back, first of all, to Rita coming ashore. We could clearly see the eye wall and the radar. There it is right there. And you're going to trace that red area because that's the worst of the winds. That's where the 120-mile-an-hour winds were and where the 100-mile-an-hour winds are now. And there you see it came ashore between Port Arthur and Cameron, Louisiana, and then moving on up to the north. And now it's up in the vicinity of Jasper, Texas up here. And very, very strong winds and rain at the rate of a few to several inches an hour still falling there, but the weather down here on the Gulf Coast is improving now, and the business of checking out what happened can begin, although this is a very, very strong band with no doubt strong tropical storm force winds, 50, 60 miles an hour possible over there in the Morgan City area. On the wider view, you can see where that rain is all going, moving up to the north, and this area up in northern Louisiana and northeastern Texas unfortunately, is likely to get, and that may extend up into Arkansas, by the way, maybe up to 2 feet of rain, although where that rain is going to go isn't totally clear, and some of the computers are indicating that massive rain that will end up there will drift back down to the south and may yet affect Houston and New Orleans, although, of course, not with the strong winds. So the weather is improving at the Gulf Coast, but still a lot of damage can be done by that eye wall and those very strong winds moving north into areas that certainly aren't used to hurricanes, and it's going to be bad up there throughout the day, but things improving down on the Gulf Coast. All right, back to you in New York.
Okay, Brian Norcross in Miami, thanks a whole lot. Now we want to check in with Ira Joe Fisher for a look at the national weather map. Hi, Ira Joe.
Hello, Russ. The storm drama elsewhere in the country really is pretty much confined to the northern tier, the northern plains and the northern and central Rockies. Scattered thunderstorms, not raining every minute, but a chance of thunderstorms, especially with the heating of the day in the afternoon. And look at the west coast, 50s and 60s in the northwest, but really hot in the southwest, climbing up at over 100 degrees in places on this, the second full day of autumn. East coast, highs are going to climb up into the 70s, partly cloudy skies and much lower humidity. And in the nation's middle, we'll see 60s around the Great Lakes, but you don't have to go very far south for temperatures to climb well up into the 80s under partly cloudy skies as well. That is a look at the nation's weather, and now here is a closer look at the weather for your weekend.
All right, thanks, Ira Joe. Here's a look at the Dade-Broward line. A beautiful morning. Temperatures in South Florida in the mid-80s. We'll work our way up into the upper 80s. Some of us seeing the 90-degree mark today. A mix of sun and clouds, a breezy shower a possibility. If you're boating, a pretty good day for that. Winds out of the east at 10 to 15, seas 2 to 4 feet. Tomorrow, look for lots of hot sunshine with just a quick shower, 90. Have a good one.
That's the nation's weather on a Saturday, Russ.
Ira Joe, thank you very much. Here's some other news this morning. The nation's capital is bracing for tens of thousands of people turning out for various rallies this weekend. The main event is an anti-war rally, along with corresponding counter demonstrations and a march and concert on the Mall and around the White House. Vice President Dick Cheney undergoes surgery today at George Washington Hospital in Washington to repair an aneurysm in his right knee. The bulge in a blood vessel was discovered during a routine checkup. He will have a similar operation later on an aneurysm behind his left knee. The aneurysms are not considered life-threatening, and doctors say the surgery is minimally invasive. In Ada, Oklahoma, an Amber Alert has been issued in the disappearance of a 16-year-old cheerleader. Police say Caitlin Elizabeth Wootland was seen getting into a dark green late-model Dodge pickup Friday afternoon at Ada High School. They say the suspect is Jerry Don Savage, an ex-boyfriend of the girl's mother. Police consider him to be armed and dangerous. Here's some good news for once this morning. A Rutherford, New Jersey couple have the only winning ticket in last Friday's $258 million Mega Millions lottery. At least it's good news for them. Helen and Harold Lerner went public Friday with their big news. When they heard the winning ticket was bought in their hometown, they really didn't think they had won.
I was on the porch. Helen was inside talking through a little screen window, and I read off the numbers, and she said to me, Harold, I think we are millionaires.
The Lerners chose the cash option. Will get a lump sum of $156 million before taxes. They say they're going to donate some of their winnings to hurricane victims. If she had turned to me and said, Harold, I think we won, I would have said, yes, dear. I changed my name to Harold. Coming up this morning, back to Hurricane Rita. She has battered some oil refineries in the Gulf. We're going to tell you what this means for gas prices. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Tonight, will you be able to catch a great night's sleep? Or will your restless mind keep chasing sleep away?
I've got to remember that appointment tomorrow. Did I send the car payment?
Introducing Lunesta, a sleep aid that can give you and your restless mind the sleep you need. Lunesta helps most people sleep all through the night and works quickly, so take it right before bed. Lunesta is non-narcotic and approved for long-term use. Of course, do not use sleep medicines for extended periods without first talking to your doctor. Be sure you have at least 8 hours to devote to sleep before becoming active. Until you know how you'll react to Lunesta, you should not drive or operate machinery. Avoid taking Lunesta with alcohol. All sleep medicines carry some risk of dependency. Side effects may include unpleasant taste, headache, drowsiness, and dizziness. Ready to catch a great night's sleep? Just climb into bed and leave the rest to Lunesta.
We asked people why they use Colace capsules.
My doctor recommended it.
My doctor told me.
My son told me.
Your son?
Yes, my son, the doctor.
Stimulant-free Colace capsules, the #1 stool softener brand recommended by doctors.
we never give in to fads. Discover the timeless beauty of Moen. Moen. Buy it for looks, buy it for life.
Your mom's wrinkles, your daughter's pimples. Your face is caught in between. Stuck in the middle. This one-step moisturizer fights aging and blemishes, as well as leading department store brands. New Olay Total Effects Anti-Aging Anti-Blemish.
So I put on this Thermacare heat wrap for knees. It heated up, and it was all downhill from there. With less knee stiffness, less pain. Nice. Oh, and since the knee wrap can go anywhere I go, I'm gone.
If you love leather, then you won't want to miss Fair's exclusive Natuzzi event. Natuzzi, uncompromising quality and unmatched style. Now, buy the best leather and the newest microfibers on the most perfectly stylish selection of Natuzzi sofas. The best part? Fair's incredible lowest price guarantee, with sofas starting at just $597. Pay no interest 1 year, 24-hour delivery. Fair's exclusive Natuzzi event. Natuzzi, it's how you live.
Feeling small when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough.
In the end, Hurricane Rita set her sights on oil refining towns along the Texas-Louisiana border. What could potential damage to facilities there mean for gas prices? Tom Closa, an analyst with the Oil Price Information Service, has a few scenarios for us to consider. Tom, it's good to see you.
Nice to be here.
Now, I know it's very early in the game, but how much more can gas prices go up at this point?
Well, actually, they've gone up since last Friday by about 60 or 70 cents a gallon in the wholesale markets at the Gulf Coast. And the Gulf Coast supplies probably the biggest section of the U.S. So they've been anticipating the impact of Rita for a while here. There's about 1 million barrels a day of production in Port Arthur and in the Beaumont area. And probably at this point, based excuse me, on everything I've seen, the most likely thing we might see is some flooding. And we might lose some of those refineries for a matter of weeks, hopefully not months. But we're talking about 6% of our production, and we've already lost about 6% of our production after Katrina. So we're going to be at risk.
We heard from some people this week who said Americans should get ready for $5 a gallon gasoline. Is that out of the question at this point?
I disagree with that. I think if you saw what happened after Katrina and we spiked higher, or we had a super spike, we went to about 3 to 3.25 across the country. I mean, there were some outrageous numbers as well, but generally that's where the price went to. And America showed that we're not going to tolerate those kind of numbers. People drove less. That was the first time we'd really seen a response that was registered in the behavior of people as opposed to just their normal complaints and day-to-day travails. So my hunch is that we'll move higher, really regardless of whether these refineries were spared in the next few weeks. But we're not going to get to those $4 and $5 numbers, at least for the fourth quarter of 2005. In 2006, you got to be careful because the cycle starts again, and if we start driving as much as we were, and we have the refinery problems that typically surface in the spring, we could see a spike at that period as well.
So at this point, people shouldn't panic?
No, they shouldn't panic. I actually think that the worst case right now is probably for heating oil and natural gas. Those prices are probably up by about $1 a gallon for heating oil. And if you happen to live in the Northeast around here, you're probably looking at a cost of about $3,000 or more to heat your home this winter. And that's about 3 times what it was a few years ago.
Now, how likely, we saw a little bit of this after Katrina, how likely is it that there's some unreputable dealers out there who will try to jack the price up as high as they can and tell people, look, this is the price, you got to pay this?
Right. Well, I think that'll be pretty limited. I mean, we follow about 100,000 gasoline stations at our group, and in most cases they passed along the increases they received at wholesale. It's a very uneven picture. A lot of people are tied to the spot market and their price goes up immediately, let's say 60 cents a gallon. Major oil companies have tried to temper the price increases, perhaps PR savvy or perhaps because of some basic altruism, I'm not sure. But I think we're looking at some increases, but we're just not looking at those increases that turn heads to $4 and $5 a gallon.
After Katrina, President Bush opened up some of the oil reserves. How likely is that to happen this time in your mind?
Well, I think it's likely, and I think we will see some crude oil sales out of the SPR if we see some damage offshore and we need that oil. It's not going to be a question about crude oil now, though. It's going to be a question of refined products capacity. We're going to be importing probably 1.5 million barrels a day. If we lose 1 million barrels a day for a few weeks because of Rita, we could face the prospect of either importing more or having to use less. It'll have to be a combination of the two.
Very quickly, hate to think this way, but we are in the heart of the hurricane season. If another one comes through and hits hard, what are we looking at that point in terms of price of the pump?
I hate to think that way as well. You know, so far we've hit probably 2 of the main clusters of refineries in the U.S. We've hit New Orleans and we've hit Port Arthur. If we get a hurricane that hits Houston, or if we get a hurricane that, God forbid, comes up the Delaware River and hits the refinery complexes there, then really all bets are off, and then we could see those sort of reactions to $4 and $5 numbers. Only temporarily, though. People won't tolerate those prices for a long period of time now, and the economy won't either.
As they say, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
We'll cross that bridge.
Time closes. As always, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Up next, people evacuated from New Orleans to Houston have to evacuate a second time. We're going to find out how some of them are coping. This is the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
That's me, Lola, and today's my 11th day with Prilosec OTC. You know, when I'd get frequent heartburn, I didn't just miss the food, I missed the cooking. But Prilosec OTC changed all that, and it started working the first day. On day 2, I did a stir fry. Day 4, I baked a pie. Today, it's Lola's lasagna. Imagine 0 heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day. It's day 11 for me. What day are you on?
What is your cat dreaming about? Same thing every cat dreams about. Great flavor combinations for dry food. Now they can have them. Introducing better than ever Friskies Dry Foods with multi-flavor combo pieces. Chicken and turkey flavored combos, salmon and chicken flavored combos, and tuna and salmon flavored combos. More flavor in every bite means cats get more out of life. Try better than ever Friskies Dry Food. Friskies for more.
I'm a nurse, and washing my hands all day makes my skin raw.
Gold Bond Ultimate Healing Lotion. 7 intensive moisturizers and 3 vitamins.
It works better than any lotion I've ever used.
Don't take our word for it. Take yours.
Gold Bond Ultimate. This stuff really works.
Exciting news from Allegra. Allegra D 24-hour. Find out what all the excitement's about. Ask your doctor today about Allegra D 24-hour. You need to know about it.
Okay.
Oh, Chubsy, come on. The answer's always... No! That's right. Oh. No! I'm not hearing it.
No! No! No!
Go from no to no hassle with Capital One No Hassle Rewards. There are no blackout dates on any airline, anytime.
I should have worked at Capital One!
What's in your wallet?
No!
48 Hours is back with a murder mystery like you've never seen before.
She came back from the dead.
The season premiere of 48 Hours Mystery tonight.
Tomorrow, it's never too late for justice.
The ones you leave behind. There's so many questions.
Cold Case returns for a new season, CBS tomorrow.
Thousands of New Orleans residents who found a safe haven in Houston during Hurricane Katrina had to evacuate a second time when Rita threatened to strike Texas. Among the evacuees, Gilbert Dennis and Kenneth Perkins, who are now staying at a campground in Little Rock, Arkansas. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Kenneth, I'd like to start with you. After leaving New Orleans, going to Texas, you then had to evacuate from Texas because of Rita. What is your feeling having to evacuate once again?
Well, you kind of like have mixed emotions, you know, because, you know, you have to relocate and you really don't know the area that you're going into. But, you know, you just have to just trust in FEMA and especially the governor of Arkansas. She's been very nice to us. And, you know, we just, you know, we stay praying for them. We just try to just, you know, hope that the moves that we make, you know, I guess, you know, the best move to make at the time.
It's nice that you can be grateful after all you've been through. Gilbert, you had a treacherous time getting out of New Orleans. You slept on an overpass for a couple of nights. Then you went to the Superdome, and we all know how difficult the Superdome must have been to live in for a couple of days. Then you went to Houston. Now you're in Arkansas. How tough has it been not only leaving your home, but not really having a proper place to stay for nearly a month?
Well, I want to first say, I want to give thanks to Almighty God and thank the people of Arkansas, which they didn't know that this many evacuees was in Arkansas. And I want to thank Governor Huckabee, his wife and daughter, for the kindness they have shown us, which has been marvelous. Mr. B.J. Thomas, which is the revenue of the place where we stay in the ministry, and all the crew. So what I'm going to tell you, I thank you, and I thank Arkansas from the bottom of my heart, and I thank them for getting in touch with all my family that's in well shape through my employment.
Tell me, sir, I'm sorry for interrupting, but tell me about your family. You know where they are? How are they doing?
If it wasn't for the Huckabees and them, they got in touch with my employment, Mrs. Sylvia Laborde, and they got in touch with my family members and told them on the computer where I was.
And they know you're okay. That's very important.
Well, I'm very okay. In fact, I'm better than okay. God has blessed me through this lady and my employees, Mrs. and Mrs. Huckabee, that we cannot begin to say how wonderful they have treated us in Arkansas.
So Kenneth, let me ask you first. Do you plan to return to New Orleans?
Well, at the rate.
I think she was asking me. Yes, I'm gonna tell you, ma'am, I would like to go back home, but the way it seemed with the Hurricane Rita coming, you know, it would kind of like delay the process of going home. But actually, as soon as everything clear, yes, ma'am, I would like to go back home.
All right, and Gilbert, we only have a few seconds left. Just yes or no. Do you plan on going back to New Orleans?
Well, I have to go back. My home is there. Right now, we're undecided, and the way God have made the world for us with these storms, and it's going to look like it's going to be a while with all the levees breaking, and we're back in the same one like we were.
But you both are determined to return.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, thanks to the both of you.
And thank you to
All right, sir. Have to leave it there. Thanks so much to the both of you. Still more ahead from New Orleans, and the rest of the area is hit by Hurricane Rita. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Now, live, this is CBS 4 News This Morning.
And good morning again, South Florida. It has been about 7 hours now since Hurricane Rita slammed ashore along the Texas-Louisiana borderline. It appears, anyway, that Houston was spared the worst of it, spared a direct hit. Still, they are telling people who evacuated from Houston not to go back home just yet.
But the sun is up, and we are getting a look at how those Gulf states fared after the storm's landfall. CBS 4's Brian Andrews is live in Houston with details on how that area is doing after Rita passed by. Good morning, Brian.
Hi, Jade and Jason. We did pretty good here in Houston. A lot of traffic lights knocked out. The power's out to some 600,000 people, but no major structural damage. Quite a different scene in Beaumont, Texas, about 75 miles to our east. Let's take you to videotape. You can see what happened to the Hotel Elegante, which is anything but elegante at this point. It is destroyed. The windows have been blown out. The ground floor in the lobby area has been flooded. We're told the building has interior and exterior structural damage. The winds from this storm just battered that part of Beaumont, and we'll be heading there later this morning once conditions are safe. For now, that's the story from Houston. Reporting live, I'm Brian Andrews on CBS 4.
And now our local weather with Erin Coakley. Good morning, Erin.
Good morning. Things looking great for us today. Temperatures already in the mid-80s, 84 up towards Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood. Same thing in Opelika. It's 86. Miami International Airport right now, and we are feeling a lot hotter than that. Feeling like the lower 90s when you factor in the humidity. Feels like 89 up in Pompano Beach. Feels like 93 Miami International Airport, and we have seen a few showers blowing in on an ocean breeze. Really not a big deal at all. One off the coast. Could see a passing shower throughout the day today, but overall looking just great. 89 for our high temperature, a mix of sun and clouds, a breezy shower.
For the second year in a row, Lincoln is the #1 ranked nameplate in customer satisfaction with dealer service. And here's more good news. The Lincoln Mercury Family Plan has been extended through October 3rd. You'll pay the same low clearance prices we pay on every 2005 Lincoln. From the midsize Aviator and the exclusive Navigator to the sporty LS and award-winning Town Car. Now drive Town Car for a low family plan price of just $31,709. No hassles, no gimmicks, and no waiting, because these discounts end October 3rd.
Listen carefully. Renowned cosmetic surgeon Dr. David Kent is looking for select women over 40 to take advantage of his amazing lifestyle lift. You've seen this breakthrough procedure on ABC affiliates, CBS, NBC, and Fox newscasts. You can take up to 20 years of facial aging off in under an hour and be back to work the next day. Call 1-800-IMAGE-75 to see if you're a candidate. 1-800-IMAGE-75 now. The Lifestyle Lift. Do something for yourself for a change.
For the latest on Hurricane Rita, keep it on CBS 4 News.
After slamming into the Texas-Louisiana coast earlier this morning with 120-mile-an-hour winds, Rita has lost some of her punch and is now a Category 2 hurricane, but make no mistake, she remains an extremely dangerous storm. We'll have reports from our CBS News correspondents all along the Gulf Coast. Welcome back to this extended edition of the Saturday Early Show. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Tracy Smith. We're also going to find out how the city of New Orleans is faring. There are new problems with the levees that failed during Hurricane Katrina. Now, streets that had been pumped dry are flooding again.
Amazing. A 1-2 punch for them, definitely. In case you're just getting up, here's a look at the headlines. Rita slammed the coast of Texas and Louisiana this morning as a Category 2 storm. Excuse me, that was a Category 3 storm with top winds of 100 miles per hour. It's now a Category 2. And a 20-foot storm surge came along with it. That is expected to cause extensive flooding. Nearly 750,000 homes and businesses in Texas have lost electricity. For more now on the flooding and the winds causing havoc in the low-lying towns along the Gulf Coast, let's go to the Early Show's Dave Price. He's in Beaumont, Texas this morning. Dave, good morning.
Good morning to you, Russ. It looks like the worst is now over for Beaumont and the immediate surrounding area. That's the short-term analysis. The long-term analysis depends on how long this storm stays around. In other words, its steering currents are gone. We've been talking about this for several days. The danger that this might just sit over the region, dumping more rain, in some cases upwards of over 20 inches. And we're worried this morning about inland extensive rain and flooding. That's separate from the immediate onslaught of rain and winds that we saw when this storm came ashore this morning. Right now in Beaumont, people just beginning to step outside and assess the damage. We're seeing some of the winds from the back edge of this storm push on up at this hour. But right where we were staying at the Elegante Hotel, it is anything but this morning with all sorts of troubles. During the overnight, winds howled through the area, upwards of 100 miles per hour. And at one point, the windows surrounding the hotel lobby shattered. Other windows at the other end of the hotel were simply knocked out. And what we were left with was a hurricane and the inside of a hotel room becoming the outside. People who were downstairs at the time scattered. And as we woke up this morning and actually begun to survey the damage, what was left was really just nothing but a chaotic situation with random pieces of furniture strewn from here to there. It's really a very sad situation. This hotel was just renovated, and many of the people who have been here over the last 3 weeks came from New Orleans, where they're homeless. And what little they had this morning, they may not have anymore. Russ?
Dave, let me ask you, over your left shoulder, is that damage to the building there that I'm seeing behind you?
Yeah, this is a security building. It's a security company. The address is 350 or 3155 Executive Boulevard. And overnight tonight, or overnight last night, I should say, the winds howled and ripped off the front facade of the second floor. Damage is pretty much 360 degrees around the side. You can see there are files everywhere, office equipment, and insulation. This is not atypical of what we see around the immediate area. We haven't had a chance to go outside yet, but we're at I-10 and Route 69, what was supposed to be the safe point in the event that a storm surge took over Port Arthur and pushed water all the way back. At this hour, there's some localized flooding. Police were staging just a little while ago, and now, even hours after Rita came on shore, we're still seeing some strong winds and some heavy rains.
Yeah.
So that's the situation right now from Beaumont. We'll send it back to you in New York. Russ?
Okay, Dave Price in Beaumont. Thanks a lot. You take care. Tracy?
We're going to go now to east of Beaumont. Rita's heaviest rains, 3 to 4 inches an hour, fell in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Jay Levine of our Chicago station WBBM has the latest from Lake Charles. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Tracy. Hurricane force still winds still very much apparent here. And even though Tracy is gone, Rita has gone, this is what she has left in her wake. Damage everywhere you look. Sheet metal flying through the streets. Hurricane force winds still here now, even though the hurricane itself has gone. We ventured out into downtown Lake Charles this morning to see exactly what there was. On one building, a 15-story apartment building, entire side panels were simply blown out and blown to the street below. We do not believe there were people inside at the time. Most people here and left town before the storm hit. Elsewhere in the city, you saw awnings, facades completely blown to smithereens, blown away. When you drove through the streets, there was water from Lake Charles up on the streets of the city itself. Many of the streets are flooded. Total flooding that some had feared going into this storm. We had been told by some people that they feared that come this morning there would be no Lake Charles, city of Lake Charles, that the lake itself would reclaim the entire city. Fortunately, that has not happened. That being aside, there is significant damage to the airport, also Interstate 10, which runs all the way along the Gulf Coast, and to other major buildings here in Lake Charles itself. So, you'd expect from a 100 mile per hour plus hurricane, but damage.
All right, Jay Levine from our Chicago affiliate WBBM in Lake Charles, Louisiana. We had a little bit of problem with the satellite there, which you can expect after a hurricane.
Definitely. We've said it several times this morning. It's shocking sometimes they even get a picture and a sound out at all with everything that's going on.
It's true.
Mr. Ira Joe Fisher has another check of the weather for us. Hello, Ira Joe.
Hello, Russ. Hello, Tracy. Dave was talking about steering currents, and there you see the remnants of Hurricane Rita, and it is still a hurricane spreading heavy rain. There is a possibility it might sneak far enough north that it would merge with this front, and that could help steer it away from the Gulf Coast. It's a slow process, but it would also take rain to parts of the country, the Northeast, for example, that needs the rain. That's a look at the nation's weather. Here's a closer look at the weather for your weekend.
Thanks, Ira Joe. Good morning. I'm meteorologist Erin Coakley. A nice morning here at CBS 4 Weather Control. 85 the current temperature. Plenty of blue sky out there. A nice breeze going. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds today. Just a breezy shower coming in on the coast. 89 for our high temperature. A great day for boating. Winds out of the east. 2 to 4 foot waves. Hot sunshine for Sunday with a quick shower. 90. Have a good one.
And that is your national forecast on a Saturday. Russ and Tracy.
Ira Joe, thank you so much. Coming up, Galveston, Texas escapes a direct hit from Rita, but must contend with a massive fire. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
The Saturday Early Show is always on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart. The Walmart price, saving you money on the things you need every day.
Acts like a sponge.
Goes through the arteries.
Taking cholesterol out of my body. It's the best way I know.
A bowl of Quaker oatmeal every day for 30 days.
Helped reduce my cholesterol 28 points.
17.
30 points. It dropped it 6 points.
12 points. That's correct.
It's a fact. It's there. It's proven.
3-0. Quaker oatmeal.
My only oatmeal.
Quaker oatmeal. What other kind is there?
We kick cholesterol's butt by eating Quaker oats.
We look out for each other. We do it without thinking, without reward. It's what we do. And that's why there's more help coming from Medicare. New prescription drug coverage. With it, everyone who is eligible for Medicare can be covered for the prescriptions they need to stay healthy. But all of us should learn more about it, because choices must be made. And we can help each other, because that's what we do.
To get help, go to Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE 24 hours a day. And look for a special insert in the September 25th issue of Parade magazine.
I get so congested from my allergies that I feel like I'm not all there. So I got Clear with Claritin D.
Come on, you're on.
For long-lasting, non-drowsy relief of your worst congestion and sinus pressure, nothing is stronger or faster. Non-drowsy Claritin D.
Live Claritin Clear.
A new way out. The thoroughly redesigned 250 horsepower Saturn Vue. Saturn.
Summer has come and passed.
We're the Saturday Early Show with Russ Mitchell, Tracy Smith, and Ira Jo Fisher, coming to you from the General Motors building on 5th Avenue in New York City.
Galveston turned out not to be ground zero for this hurricane, but Rita did pay a visit, and the bad situation was made worse by a major fire. CBS News correspondent Lee Cowan is in Galveston this morning. Lee, good morning again.
Well, good morning, Russ. Just by virtue of where I'm standing this morning is testament to the fact that this storm did spare this island. Ordinarily, at least what people were thinking, we would have been well underwater here had this storm come just a little bit further to the west as opposed to going to the east. We're right on the seawall here. But it certainly had its problems to contend with. A lot of down signs, just like this one. Matter of fact, we just got back from shooting some video around town. What you basically see are some moderate flooding, not very much, just a couple of inches in some places, and we expect that to recede relatively quickly. A lot of tree limbs down, some broken windows, things like that. The biggest problem really, though, overnight was a huge fire downtown. There were actually several fires, but the biggest one involved 3 different buildings right downtown. There were 2 businesses and a home, and we understand that one person was in fact in that home at the time of the fire. They were taken away with 3rd-degree burns, we understand. We don't know their condition at this point. Firefighters spent the better part of the night trying to put that out, and it just simply wouldn't go out. Despite the raging wind and the torrents of water coming down on it, there was still simply enough to keep that fire burning. But again, that so far, at least just a couple hours after daybreak here, seems to be the worst damage so far. Even way down at the western end of the island, which is a lot lower, it doesn't have a seawall to protect it. We thought even that would flood, and because we were so far on the western side of the storm and the wind was blowing really to the south, it was blowing the water back out, not onto the shore. So really, all things considered, there's certainly a lot of damage around the island, but all things considered, it's pretty minor. Russ?
So far, so good. Lee Cowan in Galveston. Thanks a lot. I want to report to you at home that in the last few minutes, we have learned that Hurricane Rita is now a Category 1 storm. A Category 1 hurricane was a Category 3 when it hit land, Category 2 not long after that, and now it's been named a Category 1. Coming up, Mother Nature is once again punishing New Orleans. We'll tell you exactly what the city has to cope with this time around. This is the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Oh, check this out.
What is this?
It's to strengthen my bones.
Oh, let me see that. Once a month. Oh, wow, that's great.
Introducing Boniva, a new once-monthly prescription treatment for postmenopausal osteoporosis, clinically proven to build and maintain bone density.
Where did you get it?
My doctor prescribed it.
I didn't know you could take just 1 tablet a month for anything.
Yeah, with Boniva you can.
And unlike treatments you take every week, you only need Boniva once a month.
All I can say is wow. Wow, once a month. Wow, look at that dessert.
You should not take Boniva if you have low blood calcium, severe kidney disease, or cannot sit or stand for at least 60 minutes. Follow dosing instructions carefully. Stop taking Boniva and tell your doctor if you experience difficult or painful swallowing, chest pain, or severe or continuing heartburn, as these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems. You do the right thing to treat your osteoporosis. To build and maintain strong, healthy bones, ask your doctor about once monthly Boniva. There's only one.
Did you see my keys? I'm gonna find my wallet. My briefcase, I think. Did you word it? Oh, Kirby. Sweetheart, overslept.
You're fine. Breakfast is almost ready.
Wait, I gotta be up at 6:03, rise and shine, you know? Gosh, look at the time.
Gosh, let's look at the time.
Jimmy Dean's sandwich.
Careful, it's hot.
Relax, babe. The sun, remember?
I gotta go.
The day begins with a great breakfast. The delicious Jimmy Dean sandwich. Real breakfast, real fast.
New Moisture Extreme Lip Color from Maybelline, New York. Feel the difference.
Moisture Extreme is packed with 3 times the power of the #1 lip balm. So moisture goes deep down. It's our smoothest, most sumptuous color ever. Color this gorgeous, moisture this extreme should come with a warning.
New Moisture Extreme Lip Color from Maybelline, New York. Feel the difference for yourself.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Don't miss this Sunday's paper for extreme savings on new Moisture Extreme.
At the Weebly Wobbly Treehouse, little ones can explore and take their imaginations for a spin.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Discover the fun of the Weebly Wobbly Treehouse and the whole Weebles world from Play School.
Let's play.
Not one of these allergy medicines can give you long-lasting seasonal allergy relief without the risk of drowsiness. But Allegra 180 can. For people 12 and over, side effects alone may include headache, cold, or backache. Long-lasting Allegra. The relief goes on.
10 families of 4 in an 11,000-mile race brings new meaning to the phrase, are we there yet?
Carissa can run a 7-minute mile.
I might be small, but I am not stupid.
A lot of teams think, oh, 4 sisters, 4 women, you know, we're all blonde.
Hey, look at that big bread.
Emmy winner The Amazing Race Family Edition premieres CBS Tuesday.
Rain in New Orleans is testing the levees that were patched up after Hurricane Katrina, and some of them are again failing to hold back the water. CBS News correspondent Sharon Alfonsi has more from New Orleans. Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning, Tracy. That's right. Those levees were tested, and certainly at least a couple of them have failed. We're standing in the 9th Ward neighborhood. This was one of the areas that was hardest hit during Katrina, and as you can see, there's water up to my knees. Yesterday, this area was bone dry. But what happened was one of the levees that's just north of us, it actually overflowed. There was just simply too much water. The Corps of Engineers had been in this area trying to build steel curtains to kind of raise the levee, make it a little higher. They failed to work. There was just too much water. So we have the situation we have now, and you can see the flooding throughout New Orleans. The good news here today is that finally they have been able to get some helicopters up in the air to survey the damage and determine whether or not they'll be able to come in and drop some sandbags down on the area, which would be the first step to clearing out this neighborhood and this part of New Orleans once again. They know from experience that it is going to take a while. We're told that only about 40% of the pumps are working in New Orleans, so it could be a matter of weeks before this neighborhood is dry again. Tracy?
Sharon, I spoke to someone from the Army Corps of Engineers, and he said that the water is receding. Is that what you're seeing on the ground?
It does seem like it's receding. It's kind of difficult to tell just because it is kind of high. I think if it's receding, it's a couple inches. There is a lot of wind, and so the wind's pushing the water away a little bit, but it does appear that it's pushing back a little bit.
All right, Sharon Alfonsi in New Orleans, thanks so much. As if the trouble with the levees weren't enough, Louisiana's refining towns are bearing the brunt of Hurricane Rita's destructive force. It seems there's no end in sight to the misery the state has suffered. Senator David Vitter of Louisiana is on the phone with us this morning from Baton Rouge. Senator, can you give us an update on your state?
Well, we have extensive flooding all through coastal Louisiana, and not just, Cameron Parish, south of Lake Charles. Really significantly east of that, there's major coastal flooding, and so I'm very, very concerned about that. I've been getting sporadic reports from folks in the field all through that area, basically from the Texas line to south of Lafayette, and there's significant coastal flooding.
In Lake Charles, most of the 70,000 citizens there evacuated, but 911 was still getting calls from people asking to be rescued. Any idea how soon that rescue effort can begin?
I know they're planning it as soon as the winds die down. I'm in Baton Rouge, so I'm not sure exactly what the winds are now, but they're certainly ready to go as soon as the winds die down.
Sir, how encouraged are you that the storm has dropped down to a Category 1 at this point?
Well, I'm very encouraged, but there's still the possibility of it stalling over East Texas and western Louisiana. That could cause significant issues there due to the rain. And again, I think we've suffered some major coastal flooding all along the coast. So this is going to be a real issue to deal with for a while.
Now, you've said that the Katrina disaster did not have to happen. This time around, there are 800 buses on standby, 450 trucks of supplies waiting, hundreds of rescue boats staged and ready to go. Is this what should have happened for Katrina?
Well, certainly, but what I was talking about in terms of Katrina was much broader than that. It was the fact that we saw this scenario coming. It was forecasted, it was predicted, and yet we didn't do everything we needed to do with the levee system, with coastal erosion issues that would have completely mitigated the losses both for Katrina and for Rita along coastal Louisiana.
Sir, in short, what's the biggest challenge now?
The biggest challenge immediately is to get rescue teams in. Hopefully there are very few people in those sorts of perilous situations because of the evacuation, but that's the first order of business. What I'm going to look at after we get through this weekend is, again, being very forceful and beating the drum. We need a stable revenue source from energy royalties so that we can properly fund hurricane and flood protection as well as vital work against coastal erosion.
All right, Senator David Vitter from Louisiana, thanks. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much, Tracy.
Now here's Russ.
Thank you, Tracy. Next up, we'll hear from some of the evacuees who found safe haven from the hurricane, but wonder what they'll find when they go home. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
I know. How about Crazy 8s? Nah. Or we could watch this Princess Moon party. Maybe a sleepover was a bad idea. I'll be right back.
It's more than just that great peanut taste. Jif is a simple little reminder of just how much Mom cares.
Does your mom cut down the middle or across? Across. So how's it going, girls? We're doing great.
Great. Moms like you choose Jif.
If you have indoor or outdoor allergies, ask your doctor about something different. Singulair. While many allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair works differently by blocking leukotrienes, an underlying cause of allergy symptoms. And Singulair is now approved to help relieve both indoor and outdoor allergy symptoms for a full 24 hours. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat indoor and outdoor allergies.
Makeup meltdown? I don't think so.
New Infallible, L'Oreal's first never-fail makeup that fights the 5 signs of makeup meltdown. Infallible hides blemishes, ends rub-off, stops shine, combats signs of fatigue, fights heat and humidity for 16 hours of beautiful skin. New Infallible from L'Oreal.
Morning, Tiger.
Hey, Tiger.
Is your cat part of the family? Then try Meow Mix Indoor Formula, which has specially balanced nutrition for a healthy indoor cat. Meow Mix Indoor Formula.
Meow.
I fight a war that never stops. I work in infectious diseases at GlaxoSmithKline. You know how hard it is to find a new drug? Think of it this way. One of these snowflakes will fight one kind of infection and be safe enough for people to take. A scientist here could work through 1 million compounds and find only one new drug. And then we start again, because bacteria develop resistance and new viruses appear. The war never stops.
GlaxoSmithKline. Today's medicines finance tomorrow's miracles.
We're having fun out in the sun. We're such a great team. Being a dad is awesome.
Dad, you're the greatest. Hey.
Wow, that looks cool.
What?
Make your ideal trip a reality on Expedia with extra savings when you book your flight and hotel together.
Expedia.com. For up-to-the-minute continuing coverage of the effect and aftermath of Hurricane Rita, turn to Face the Nation with Bob Schieffer Sunday on CBS.
My name is Roy Hallam.
His story is chilling. He lived through 10 months of torture and captivity in this dark cell. And tomorrow, he's on 60 Minutes.
Millions of evacuees spent a long night away from home, leaving their houses in Rita's hands. CBS News correspondent Tricia Regan is at a shelter in Huntsville, Texas, with some of the evacuees. And Tricia, when we spoke to you a few hours ago, everybody was asleep. Looks like folks are up now.
People have woken up, gotten a little bit of breakfast. They are assessing the damage from the storm. Fortunately, it's not too bad here in this area or in Houston. But we've been talking to a lot of people here in the shelter, including Julene Lord, who actually
was in Katrina and in New Orleans, had spent some time in a shelter in Texas earlier, and here you are back in another shelter yet again. Does it feel like you just keep going from shelter to shelter, like you just did this?
Yes, it's like it's the same cycle repeating all over again. But I must say, like, you know, before I came to the shelter, I was established.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be strong about it. After before we came here, we was established. We are staying at Stone Ridge apartment complex. You know.
So you had an apartment.
Yeah, we have an apartment. They found us an apartment there.
In Conroe,
yes,
Texas?
in Conroe, Texas, right on 231 I-45 North.
Did you have a job?
No, I just had got a job. I was driving the school bus over there. I just had got my kids in nursery the day before we came here, so things were starting to work out for me, you know. And,
so you were just getting settled?
Yes, I was just getting settled, and I was just learning the area where I was staying at, because I don't know anything about Texas, you know. I know I'm a bus driver, and when it's come down to direction right now, it's too much for me.
So what's it like having to come here?
Coming here, it's a little hard. It's harder, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, a lot of the shelter where I just came from there was more up to date, you know. And here, you know, I appreciate everything what they're doing for it. I know they mean us well. But it's really not doing me too good, you know. It's just not really organized here, you know.
What's your plan now? Do you want to get out?
Yes, my plan. I want to get out, but I need to know first if where I stay is letting people back over there, you know, before I make that move, you know, because they're saying that the storm is not that bad. I wasn't even able to watch TV because I'm so tied up with my kids.
Are you here alone with your children?
Yes, it's my 2 kids and myself.
That's
right.
Okay.
And the rest of my family, you know, I know where the rest of my family is from Katrina, you know. They're in Texas, and I have one sister in Arkansas. She's trying to get me to come out there if I'm not able to go back to Conroe, you know. But I just got to take it hour at a time. First, I was taking one day at a time, and now I just got to take 1 hour at a time.
It's been a lot to go through. 2 hurricanes in just about 3 weeks, in just less than a month.
Exactly. You know, it's just really been hard for us.
How are the kids taking it?
My kids, they are out of hand now. You know, my oldest son don't want to listen. He can't sleep. No matter what I do, I feed him, I change him, I bath them. It just can't get right. You know, they want to play, and I can't let them play because they ask us to keep our kids together. You know. And at the church in Conroe, at First United Methodist Church, I must say they was well organized. That was their first time opening up to the community, you know.
Well, we're wishing you all the luck, Julie and Lord. We hope that everything is safe for you and you get back to your home. People, as you can see, are pretty upset here in Huntsville. Russ?
Okay, Trish Regan in Huntsville. She said taking it an hour at a time. Thank you so much. You saw so much of that.
So much, and it's happening to these people again. Your heart breaks for that woman standing there with her child.
Yeah, that is. I mean, as she said, if she wants to go home, a lot of people want to go home, but as we heard from the Red Cross folks today, they're not going to let them out of there until they know it's safe. So a frustrating situation for everyone. There is much more to come this morning. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Now, live, this is CBS 4 News This Morning.
And welcome to our extended coverage of Hurricane Rita. New Orleans now dealing with some flooding after the storm's landfall on the Texas-Louisiana coast.
CBS 4's Carrie Codd has a look at some of the effects there.
Well, here in New Orleans, the sun is actually shining. The wind has subsided. The rain has stopped, but the work continues. They are going out right now to check out those flooded areas where those patched up levees that were breached during Hurricane Katrina overflowed yesterday into some of the low-lying areas here. These are some pictures of some of the low-level street flooding that has come into some of the neighborhoods, specifically the lower 9th Ward and the Gentilly area. Of course, they are hoping to have crews out throughout the day today assessing what happened out there, how much water is out there. We believe it's between 4 and 6 feet of water in some of those homes and cars. Fortunately, those areas have been completely abandoned, and as one person who lives out here tells us, those folks just don't have much more stuff to lose, so it doesn't matter how much rain and how much flooding they got. In New Orleans, Carrie Codd, CBS 4 News This Morning.
And here with a brand new advisory now on Hurricane Rita is meteorologist Erin Coakley. What's it looking like, Erin?
We now have a Category 1 storm. This storm did make a landfall as a Category 3 storm. It has winds now of 75 miles per hour. It's near Jasper, Texas. The pressure does continue to rise. It's at 960 millibars right now. It is moving to the north at 12, and its track does continue to push it up towards the north and then off to the northeast. This will be a big rainmaker, so flooding a big concern in this area. For us today, beautiful. 89 for our high temperature. A mix of sun and clouds, just a breezy shower a possibility. Tomorrow looking good too with lots of hot sunshine. Have a good one.
And we'll have another update in 30 minutes.
See you then.
Hi, I'm Jeff Katz. 30 years ago, I founded Dolphin Carpet and Tile. This weekend, we're running Pergo-type laminate on sale for 99 cents. Hurry in. This sale ends Monday at 8 p.m.
We're clearing out the 2005 Mercury models, so time is short to join the Lincoln Mercury family and pay the same low clearance prices we pay. Through October 3rd, get our model year-end discounts on Mountaineer with seating for up to 7, the Compact Mariner, innovative Montego, spacious Grand Marquis, Value Pack Sable, and versatile Monterey. Now drive Montego for a low family plan price of just $20,954. No hassles, no gimmicks, and no waiting, because these discounts end October 3rd.
Hi, I'm Jeff Katz. 30 years ago, I founded Dolphin Carpet and Tile. This weekend, we're running travertine marble on sale for $249 a square foot. Hurry in. This sale ends Monday at 8 p.m.
Lisa Petrillo for Ocean Drive's Fall Fashion Review, tonight at 7:30 on 4.
Cold Case returns for a new season, CBS tomorrow.
Good morning, I'm Russ Mitchell. Rita has moved in and is battering the Gulf Coast. Though she has weakened in the past few hours since making landfall, now downgraded to a Category 1 storm, she continues to punish the Texas-Louisiana border and beyond. We'll have the latest.
I'm Tracy Smith. The rain from Hurricane Rita is causing flooding in parts of New Orleans on streets that had been pumped dry after Hurricane Katrina. We'll have that story early this Saturday morning, September 24th, 2005.
And good morning. It is 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Welcome to this extended edition of the Saturday Early Show. You're looking at a live picture of radar. That is Hurricane Rita.
As we said, she is pounding the Gulf Coast. She made landfall at 3:30 this morning Eastern Time, just east of Sabine Pass, Texas. And while it seems that the cities of Houston and Galveston were spared the worst, this was still a powerful and dangerous storm, and extensive damage and flooding is expected. But let's get right to the headlines on Hurricane Rita. At this hour, Rita is rapidly losing strength down to a Category 1 storm with top winds near 75 miles an hour. The main danger right now is Rita's torrential rains, with rainfall totals up to 15 inches in some areas. And more than 1 million homes and businesses in Texas and Louisiana have lost electricity. After heavy criticism of the government's slow reaction to Hurricane Katrina, President Bush this morning paid a visit to the U.S. Northern Command in Colorado Springs for a briefing on the response to Rita.
Admiral, thank you very much for a series of briefings that really do comfort me in knowing that our federal government is well organized and well prepared to deal with Rita. I've come here to watch NORTHCOM in action, to see firsthand the capacity of our military to plan, organize, and move equipment to help the people in the affected areas, in this case of Louisiana and Texas. We've had full briefings on the storm, its activities. The first order of business now is to search and rescue teams to pull people out of harm's way. Just had an assessment by General Honore of Lake Charles, Louisiana. It got hit hard. They've got teams on the ground beginning to analyze the situation and prepare the necessary response to stabilize the situation and, more importantly, save lives there as well. It's very important for the citizens who have headed into East Texas to understand that even though the storm has passed the coastline, the situation is still dangerous because of potential flooding. A lot of people have left the coastline and headed into East Texas and parts of western Louisiana. It is important for them to listen carefully to the local authorities about whether or not it is safe to return back to their homes. It's going to take a while for the authorities on the ground to fully understand the impact of the flooding, and therefore people who are safe now ought to remain in safe conditions. At any rate, Admiral, thank you very much for your hospitality. I appreciate your leadership. I want to thank all the folks who work here in NORTHCOM for doing their duty, which is to organize and rally the assets of the federal government to help our fellow citizens who are in need. Thank you very much.
President Bush speaking this morning in Colorado Springs, Colorado. When Rita rolled ashore early this morning, she was 30 miles southeast of Beaumont, Texas, where CBS News correspondent Randall Pinkston was hunkered down. Randall, good morning to you.
Good morning, Russ. You know, most people in the hurricane zone evacuated, but there were some people who didn't, deciding to ride out the storm. We met a couple in Vidor, Texas. That's about 10 miles from here in Beaumont. And they had the most frightening experience of their lives.
I don't want to be here if it comes back. I do not want to be here if it comes back. I don't never want to be in this place again.
Don Allen called her mom to let her know that she was okay, that she had survived the storm. She and her fiancé live in a trailer behind a flea market. Their home made it through unscathed, but the flea market wasn't as fortunate. Most buildings were heavily damaged, some destroyed. The couple say they didn't evacuate because they didn't have a car and didn't know public transportation was available. Did you learn anything from this? What's the lesson here?
Leave. Either way, you can't leave.
Say that again.
Anyway, you can't get out. Just go.
Anyone who lived through Hurricane Rita last night may very well be having second thoughts this morning, and next storm, they probably will leave. Right now, authorities here and throughout the hurricane zone are assessing the damage, and they're telling residents who did evacuate to stay out until they can make sure that everything is okay for return. Russ?
Randall Pinkston in Beaumont. Thanks a lot. For an update on the status of the storm, let's turn to CBS News hurricane analyst Brian Norcross, who's at our station WFOR-TV in Miami. Okay, Brian, what's the latest on Rita's whereabouts at this point?
Rita's moving north, Ross. Very, very heavy rain and strong winds as far north now as Shreveport, Louisiana. I just checked, winds there over 50 miles an hour in gusts now, and reporting heavy rain at the airport. Now, the storm, you can see the extent of it, does not get to the Dallas area, and it is now west of New Orleans, but there are significant problems still going on. Let's go close up on the center. This is where the worst of it is. This is where the 75-mile-an-hour winds are. North of Jasper, moving up toward Huxley in eastern Texas. And no doubt there's going to be significant damage in this part of eastern Texas from those winds. Over to the southeast, a report just in from the Weather Service office there in New Orleans that there's up to 7 feet of storm surge flooding here in Terrebonne Parish, south of Houma, Louisiana, and 4 to 6 feet throughout this coast here. So we haven't gotten any television out of there, but we are going to hear significant reports of more damage from storm surge flooding from Rita, because you can see the southerly winds continue to push the water in there. And by the way, this is a very strong band with winds probably 50, 60 miles an hour heading for the Baton Rouge area right now. Over in Houston, things are just about to let up. The last significant band has moved northeast. There's a little more minor band here, but they'll be moving kind of northeast with the hurricane. So this is still going to go on for a while, and the very heavy rain is slowly going to spread north and then to the northeast, it looks like now, maybe up as far as Memphis, western Tennessee, northern Mississippi, northern Louisiana, and northeastern Texas, where the rain is just going to rain for days. In fact, it looks like into the middle of next week, at least, before this system finally breaks up and moves on. So we're going to be talking about Rita here in terms of a very, very heavy rain, probably a flooding rainstorm for some time.
Brian, I have to ask you, a lot of people are going to hear that it's now a Category 1 and get a little confident, a little overconfident perhaps. I think you're going to tell them that's not a good idea, correct?
No, with the winds blowing, anytime the winds are blowing, tropical storm force, that line divides where branches start to break, power lines come down at tropical storm force. That's sort of the practical definition of it. So if the winds are at that 40 miles an hour or higher, people should not be on the road. It's just too dangerous.
Okay. Brian Norcross in Miami. Thanks a lot. Tracy?
Now let's go back to hard-hit Beaumont, Texas, and check in with Dave Price. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning to you, Tracy. I'm with Bill Bianchi and Karen Mitchell, or Chris Mitchell, I should say. Chris is an employee at the hotel. She's the night manager, one of the selfless people that helped us all night. And Bill, of course, has managed the hotel for about a year. I apologize, Chris, you just walked in. I know you just returned from your home. What's the current condition of your home?
Not good, not good. The whole roof is gone of our apartment.
And Bill, take us through exactly what the damage is here so far.
Well, yeah, I mean, the worst thing that's happened that we're aware of is it blew out a number of windows in our main lobby areas and in several of the guest rooms. We don't know what the damage has been done to our roof air units and those kinds of things yet. We know the exterior of the building, some of the masonry has been blown off, but again, we're not sure of that extent yet.
You've been here a year. You came here a year ago. Millions of dollars were put into this hotel. What was going through your mind last night as all this was happening?
Probably the same thing all of our employees that were here, our team members, just, you know, it was crying shame. We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in it over the last year, getting it into a 4-star status, and but we'll get it back up there.
Chris, I noticed last night a number of the employees were around together in tears. While a lot of people were scattering around the building, there was tremendous sadness. Can you tell us what was going on, what you all were talking about last night in the middle of the night?
It's just heartbreaking. This is our job. We worked hard, like Bill said, to make it what it was, but we'll get back to what it was.
Bill, tell us, as far as the people who are here, many of whom came from New Orleans, they've been displaced. What happens now to those people, like the people standing on the balconies, who have no water, no heat, no air conditioning, nothing right now?
Well, we're still trying to figure out where we're going next with it. We're waiting for word from the city on when we'll have water and power back. You know, we have some water and food supplies here. We can support the people that are in house for a few days, but we can't do it for a week or two.
Very quickly, is this the scariest thing you've ever been through?
Pretty close. I went through another hurricane when I was a kid, about 12 years old, and that one was scary as hell too.
Chris?
It's my first and hopefully my last.
You gonna stay in town?
Oh yeah, this is my home, my job. I've been here 12 years.
So you're staying. Thank you both so much, not only for joining us this morning, but for your hospitality and your great care last night. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, that's it from here in Beaumont. Of course, not only physical scars from all that went through here last night, but emotional scars as well. Let's send it back to you in New York.
Okay, Dave, thank you very much. Dave Price in Beaumont. It is about 11:11 on the East Coast here, and Hurricane Rita hit shore at 3:39 this morning Eastern Time. We're starting to get some damage reports now from the hurricane. Some of the worst reports are coming in from Vinton, Louisiana, where several fires are burning and the roof was torn off the town's recreation center. Joining us by telephone is Vinton's Police Chief Rick Fox. Chief Fox, good morning to you.
Good morning, Russ. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, sir. The question is, how are you doing? What's the latest from your town?
Well, about 3:30 this morning, we didn't know if we were going to talk to anybody else or not. It got quite scary about that time.
What's going on right now in Vinton? How would you describe the situation?
I have the men in the department here, we're out making various assessments around town. I've been going around town to video as much as I can for the assessment purposes. However, most streets are impassable due to, of course, power poles and lines down, tree debris, roofs from houses. It's a tremendous sight.
Now, just so people have an idea of where you are right there on the Louisiana-Texas border near the coast. Is that correct?
We are 7 miles from the Texas border, just on the north side of Interstate 10. We're about 35 miles from Beaumont east.
Let's talk about this report that your police headquarters lost its roof. God, describe to me what was going on.
Well, that was probably, out of everything that I've heard, that's probably the only erroneous report.
Is that right?
That's correct. We didn't lose ours, but the old City Hall, we have a new City Hall that was built just recently. In fact, they just occupied it last week. The old City Hall lost part of its roof, and there's some roof damage to the new City Hall. So possibly somewhere in translation that got a little bit skewed.
I know you're getting a lot of calls from residents in the area. What is their biggest concern at this point?
Well, their biggest concern is just to take care of their property, to check on their property, and to know when they can come back. And it's my advice now is to just listen to the networks such as yourself, and as soon as it's safe and as soon as it's going to be possible to get them back, we will. But there are no services, no public services left in this town. Electricity is down, and of course, electricity is what runs the town's water wells. So those are out. We have no public utilities left, so except the telephone.
Chief Rick Fox in Vinton, Louisiana, the best of luck to you today, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Take care. Now 13 minutes past the hour. Ira Joe Fisher has a look at the national weather map. Hi, Ira Joe.
Hello, Russ. The other dramatic weather about which to talk is a line of thunderstorms, and they will be scattered along the northern plains and into the northern and central Rockies. Northeastern part of the country, partly cloudy and in the 70s, cooler in the northwest, 50s and 60s there. That's a look at the nation's weather. Here's a closer look at the weather for your weekend.
Thanks, Sarah Jo. Good morning, everyone. Things looking great outside right now. Our temperature 86 degrees, plenty blue sky out there. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day today. Should be just lovely. A breezy shower possibility, 89 for our high temperature. If you're boating, things looking good. Winds out of the east, pretty strong at 10 to 15. Hot sunshine for our Sunday, just a quick shower, 90. Enjoy your weekend.
And that's a look at the weather across the rest of the nation. Tracy.
Thanks, Ira. In other news, the nation's capital is bracing for tens of thousands of people turning out for various rallies this weekend. The main event is an anti-war rally, along with corresponding counter-demonstrations, and a march and concert on the Mall and around the White House. Also, Vice President Dick Cheney undergoes surgery today at George Washington Hospital to repair an aneurysm in his right knee. The bulge in a blood vessel was discovered during a routine checkup. He'll have a similar operation later on an aneurysm behind his left knee. The aneurysms are not considered life-threatening, and doctors say the surgery is minimally invasive. And in Rutherford, New Jersey, a couple have the only winning ticket from last Friday's $258 million Mega Millions lottery. Helen and Harold Lerner went public Friday with their big news. When they heard the winning ticket was bought in their hometown, they really didn't think they had won.
I was on the porch, Helen was inside talking through a little screen window, and I read off the numbers, and she said to me, "Harold, I think we are millionaires."
The Lerners chose the cash option and will get a lump sum of $156 million before taxes. They say they will donate some of their winnings to hurricane victims. Up next, what is FEMA doing differently this time to help people in the hurricane region? We'll hear from the new man in charge. This is the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
What will tomorrow bring? Recovering from Hurricane Rita, taking stock, starting over. This Sunday morning.
My name is Roy Hallam.
His story is chilling. He lived through 10 months of torture and captivity in this dark cell. And tomorrow, he's on 60 Minutes.
Everybody wants a great deal on a new car, but not any dealership can deliver. Well, at Esserman International Volkswagen, you want it, you got it. You want the all-new redesigned 2006 Jetta 4-door for just $199 a month? You got it. You want it with CD player, side airbags, power windows, and locks, and more? You got it. You want scheduled maintenance included for the entire first year of your lease? You got it. Esserman International Volkswagen. You want it, we got it. So get it.
Esserman Internacional, pegadito al International Mall.
Fact: millions of germs thrive on your kitchen surfaces, but if you're cleaning them with an overused sponge, you might as well be doing this. Fact: Lysol sanitizing wipes are unbeatable because they kill 99.9% of germs in 30 seconds. No leading wipe cleans better. Forget sponges. No wonder moms trust Lysol. Life demands Lysol. That's a fact.
Breast cancer is one of the most common forms of cancer in women. I'm CBS 4 health specialist Dr. Sean Kenneth.
And I'm CBS 4's Lori Stein. As a breast cancer survivor, I know we can all make a big difference in the fight against this deadly disease.
So please join us for the very special Susan G. Komen 10th Anniversary Race for the Cure.
It's Saturday, October 15th at Bayfront Park in downtown Miami.
Remember, early detection is key to surviving breast cancer.
So register early, and together we can all race for the cure.
After heavy criticism of its response to Hurricane Katrina, this time around, FEMA says it's ready to roll. Trucks of emergency supplies, along with response and assessment teams, have been dispatched to the hurricane zone in Texas and Louisiana. Earlier this morning, I spoke with acting FEMA Director David Paulison, and I asked him where provisions and troops are positioned.
Well, right now the troops we have them scattered all over southeastern Texas and in Louisiana. They're in safe places. They're doing very well. They're hunkering down, pretty much just waiting for the winds to die down until they can start responding.
Kind of take us through the next 12 to 24 hours. What is your mission at that point?
Well, our first mission is going to be life and safety. We want our urban search and rescue teams on the ground. We want the Coast Guard helicopters in the air, doing surveys, find out if there's people that we need to take out of harm's way. That's number one. Number two is to start moving our food, water, and ice, and our other commodities into place where people need it. We're going to do a survey, see where the damage is, see where the need is, and then start moving as quickly as we can.
Now, some 3 million people evacuated the hurricane zone this time. How many people do you think are still left there?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how many people are left. They seem to be in pretty good shape, though. We have to wait until the winds die down, until we can get our planes in the air and our urban search and rescue teams out in the field and see exactly what we have.
We saw those pictures earlier of New Orleans yesterday. Again, the 9th Ward flooded after being flooded 3 weeks ago from a little bit of rain, a lot of rain that came into New Orleans. At this point, what do you have to do in New Orleans to shore up things there?
Well, the Army Corps of Engineers is on the scene. They're assessing the situation. I talked to Admiral Thad Allen this morning early. He is waiting for the winds to go down so he can personally go out and look at those levees and see exactly what we have to do to shore them up and then start pumping the water back out again.
Mr. Paulison, I know that you are new on the job, but what is FEMA doing differently this time around as opposed to Katrina less than 3 weeks ago?
Well, I'm really not even focusing on what happened in Katrina. I'm looking at what we have to do from here on out. I had 30 years of fire emergency experience and emergency management experience. So I'm dealing with this storm how I think we should deal with it. And we're putting people on the ground, we're putting troops on the ground, and probably as important as anything else, we've got a communications plan in place where we have people with our local officials, people with the state officials to make sure that we understand what the needs are and they understand what our capabilities are.
Well, let me ask you this. As you said, the trucks will be rolling in the next 12 to 24 to 48 hours. Why are you so confident that that's going to happen this time when it didn't happen a few weeks ago?
Well, again, I'm going to deal with what this storm is doing. We'll look at Katrina down the road, and we'll have to look at that very seriously, but now's not the time to do that. We're trying to manage expectations. We know that it's going to be difficult to get in some areas. People need to stay in their homes. Sometimes it's 12, 24, 36 hours before you can get areas cleared out to move in. The local emergency responders are ready. Our urban search and rescue teams are ready. The Coast Guard is ready to put helicopters in the air, and we will do so as soon as it's safe to do that.
Okay. David Paulison with FEMA. Thank you so much, and good luck to you. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, a look at the health hazards posed by Hurricane Rita's in the days and weeks to come. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Martha Stewart was the queen of perfection.
It's a good thing.
Until the scandal.
Didn't you sell your implant stuff? I am not going to jail.
Put her behind bars.
I was told I'd be given a job. I had some thoughts on the idea. Why don't you keep them to yourself? The floors, they're beyond disgusting. You got yourself a job.
Sybil Shepherd. Martha behind bars. It wasn't such a good thing. A world premiere movie. CBS Sunday.
We're clearing out the 2005 Mercury models, so time is short to join the Lincoln Mercury family and pay the same low clearance prices we pay. Through October 3rd, get our model year-end discounts on Mountaineer with seating for up to 7, the Compact Mariner, innovative Montego, spacious Grand Marquis, Value Pack Sable, and versatile Monterey. Now drive Montego for a low family plan price of just $21,454. No hassles, no gimmicks, and no waiting, because these discounts end October 3rd.
As Hurricane Rita drenches the Gulf Coast, the threat of flooding is a major public health issue. Dr. Emily Sine is here with more on the risks and what people can do to stay healthy. Good morning, Em.
Good morning.
So why is flooding such a huge health concern?
Yes, well, as we learned certainly through Katrina, not only does it contain all sorts of nasty stuff like bacteria, viruses, and toxins, but it's generally dangerous to walk in because you don't know what's underneath there. So people can be injured just walking through floodwaters. It can also have electrical wires. It can have a whole host of other things in it that make it completely unsafe for a variety of reasons. So if you're in a flooded area, you really want to wait for authorities to get you out of there before you wade through any sort of flooded water. And finally, obviously, rushing water is dangerous, and tides can come up quickly and people can be swept away.
If you have to make contact with the flood water, is there any way to protect yourself against infection?
Well, a couple things. Obviously, don't drink the flood water. That's very important. If you can, protect your skin. If you have any cuts or abrasions or any way that toxins or other organisms can get through your skin, you want to try to avoid that. I realize that's not always possible. But if you are working in the flood water, you want to make sure that you wash your hands very thoroughly when you leave that area so that you don't take contaminated flood water and put it on your food or other things that you might eat.
And let's talk about drinking water. How can you ensure that your drinking water is safe?
Well, that's important. If you don't have access to clean drinking water, there are a couple things you can do. First of all, you can boil any sort of water that you might have access to. You have to boil it for 3 to 5 minutes, a roiling boil. If you don't have access to that and you do have access to simple household bleach, this is liquid bleach that doesn't have any sort of scent to it or color to it. You can add 16 drops of household bleach to 1 gallon of water. Let it sit for 30 minutes. You should smell a slightly chemical scent to it. If you don't, repeat the process for 15 minutes, but that can work. You can also distill water, which is just to sort of capture the vapor from a roiling boil, and that water will not contain sediments and other things. So,
all right.
3 different ways to protect yourself with water.
Terrific. Great advice, Dr. Emily Sine. Thanks so much. Take care. Still to come, a complete update on the status of Hurricane Rita, the damage she's already caused, and what we can still expect. There's a lot more ahead in this extended edition of the Saturday Early Show. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Welcome back. 11:25 here in the East Coast. You know, as we were discussing earlier, these damage reports coming in. We spoke with the police chief in Vinton, Louisiana, and that's what's going to happen. The same thing that we saw with Katrina. At first, in many areas, it didn't look like things were very bad, and suddenly, obviously, we realized we had been fooled.
So much of it, I think, also centers on the response, and that's so much of what has changed. You know, first of all, the evacuations happened this time.
Right.
So even if the water does rise, it's at least a good sign that there are not people in there where these places, you know, might be flooded, whereas that was the difference last time, too. There were all those people that were essentially trapped. So one of the lessons
the lesson appears to have been quickly applied. The lesson, it is hoped that has been learned, has been quickly applied.
And acting FEMA director David Paulson, who we spoke with earlier, he was clearly trying to be diplomatic about this, but the one thing he did say that's different this time around than last time, at least is what I got out of it, is communications are a little different this time. Last time you had this issue with the state talking to the federal government, talking to municipalities, and that was an issue. It sounds like that's something that they have worked on in the past 3 weeks in anticipation of another major event like this. So let's hope it all pays off.
Absolutely. So it certainly would hope improvement would come from the lesson that was presented 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely. We have another half hour to go in our extended coverage this morning. We're going to talk about kids and how kids are dealing with this issue. Not only kids who are on the ground there in Texas and Louisiana, but also kids watching this on TV. How do you deal with that?
It's a lot to take in.
Economic stuff as well. Ray Martin's going to be here and talk about the impact of what's happening.
And some advice for what to do if you're worried about your budget.
A lot to get to this morning in our final half hour. Stick around. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Now, live. This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
And welcome to our extended coverage of Hurricane Rita. The storm made landfall around 3 this morning, hitting eastern Texas and western Louisiana especially hard.
And this morning we are hearing about some of the heroics that rescue crews did in some of the hard-hit areas. CBS 4's Mike Kirsch on the phone from Lake Charles, Louisiana with this report.
Tell me what this tape is that I'm looking at so we can record it.
Okay. This took place as the eye slammed into Lake Charles with over 100-mile-per-hour winds. An urban search and rescue commander out of Los Angeles, who was a spotter, the frontman for a group that's waiting behind in Beaumont, came here with us looking for people to rescue. Indeed, he found a young couple stranded in a trailer that was being shredded, ripped apart. The roof came off. He went in, he grabbed these two people out one at a time. He carried the woman out to safety. And I haven't seen anything like this in a hurricane in my life.
Are they okay, Mike?
Yeah, they're okay. They're shaken up, but they're extremely happy to be out of there. The winds were over 100 miles per hour, and this gentleman, James Campbell out of Los Angeles, former paramedic, now working urban search and rescue and hurricanes, just came back from New Orleans, found this couple while we were filming these trailers as they were coming apart during the hurricane. We saw them flickering a lighter from inside the trailer. That's how we saw them. And then we heard a faint whistle from the young man that he pulled out of that trailer, and then subsequently carried the young man's girlfriend, soon-to-be wife. Apparently they talked about marriage during the hurricane last night, if they could make it out alive. They've made it out alive, and this man is a hero.
Okay, great. I'm going to run, okay? Thank you.
Much more of that coming up later on today. For now, though, we will put you back with your regular programming, and we'll be back here in 30 minutes with another update.
Try Chicken Kitchen's whole chicken special for just $6.99, only for a limited time. Chicken Kitchen, fresh, healthy, simply delicious.
When you travel, you never know what kind of bed you'll get. Until now. Introducing the Sleep Number bed, exclusively at Radisson. The only bed that lets you control firmness and comfort with the touch of a button. For a perfect night's sleep, every stay. Find your Sleep Number at Radisson Hotels and Resorts and stay your own way.
Right now, you'll save thousands with Ford employee pricing. Plus, you'll receive a brand new color TV, but only at Armstrong Ford of Homestead. New 2005 F-150 Explorer Expedition, and receive a brand new color TV.
The John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, the public did not know. The details, the rumors, the truth. Next, Oprah.
Monday at 4 on 4.
Saturday Early Show. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Tracy Smith. This hurricane season has brought so many disturbing images. We're going to find out how to talk with your children about all the pictures that they're seeing on TV. We'll get to that in just a little bit. You'll have that interview. But with the latest headlines we'll get to the latest headlines on Hurricane Rita first. It made landfall earlier this morning east of Sabine Pass, Texas. At this hour, Rita is rapidly losing strength down to a Category 1 storm with top winds near 75 miles an hour. The main danger now is Rita's torrential rainfall, which could total up to 15 inches in some areas, and more than 1 million homes and businesses in Texas and Louisiana have lost electricity. In New Orleans, the levees that were ravaged by Katrina are being put to the test once again by Hurricane Rita. CBS News correspondent Sharon Alfonsi is in New Orleans with the latest. Good morning again, Sharon. Unfortunately, during this hurricane, we are having all sorts of technical difficulties, understandably. We'll get to Sharon in just a moment. First, we will head over to Ira Joe with
a final look this morning.
A final look at our national weather. We have to get Ira Joe in place, actually, over there, so that'll take us just a few moments as
well. You know, we've been very lucky. There's a national weather map. You can figure it out yourself, I guess.
Here comes Ira Joe.
But you know, we've been narrating over that. Is that what you'd like me to do? All right, let's talk about the hurricane. Then you see it looping, and as Tracy's pointed out, it is winds now at 75 miles an hour. That means it still qualifies as a hurricane. And when we say it's losing strength, well, that's true. Its winds are down from 120 to 75 miles an hour, but obviously still very dangerous, not only with the winds, but the rain that is going to continue for days to come, as Brian Norcross has pointed out, and eloquently, I might add. So the rain will continue here for a long while into, well, Monday and Tuesday of the coming week. We'll also see some thunderstorms along the northern plains today. The eastern part of the country, partly cloudy, absolutely beautiful. Lower humidity, high temperatures climbing into the 60s and 70s. Look at the northwest, really cool, 50s and 60s. That's a look at the nation's weather. And now here's a closer look at the weather for your weekend. Burlington, Vermont, mostly sunny, 65. Chicago.
Thanks, Ira Joe. Looking beautiful here across South Florida. A mix of sun and clouds for today. It will be hot, but at least we'll have a nice breeze going. 89 for our high temperature. As we go out on the boat, that would be nice. Winds out of the east, 10 to 15, seas 2 to 4 feet. Tomorrow, looking for a day filled with hot sunshine. Just a quick shower coming in on an ocean breeze, 90 for our high temperature. Have a great weekend.
Of course, we
Good
tried
hustle.
Man, look at him go. I tell you, fantastic. We tried to go with Sharon Valfonzi earlier today, and just so you'll know, if you saw that picture of her standing in that water, that's the 9th ward, right, in New Orleans?
Which just dried out. Days ago, they got it dried out, and now it's flooded again.
We'll try to get with her a little later in our broadcast. Next up, as we continue our special hurricane coverage, advice in helping your child cope with the tragedy and images they're seeing on TV. This is the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Fashion has arrived. It's all inside JCPenney.
Exciting news from Allegra. Allegra D 24-hour. Find out what all the excitement's about. Ask your doctor today about Allegra D 24-hour. You need to know about it.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. At the Weebly Wobbly Treehouse, little ones can explore and take their imaginations for a spin. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Discover the fun of the Weebly Wobbly Treehouse and the whole Weebles world from Play School. Let's play!
Is watching your weight always on your mind? Try Quaker's delicious new weight control oatmeal. 7 grams of protein and 6 grams of fiber help fill you up and start your day satisfied. Weight off your mind.
My single most important accessory? My hair color. Garnier Nutrice Nourishing Color Cream. Rich, luscious, nourishing color. Because nourished hair means better color. And only Nutrice nourishes with grapeseed and avocado oils. So hair takes color better and holds it longer. Root to tip. And grays, not in here. So frame that face in rich, fabulous color. Garnier Nutrice. Nourished hair, better color. Garnier.
Bertolli! Bertolli! Why go out for great Italian when there's Bertolli frozen dinners? Savor plump shrimp scampi and linguine al dente, served with roasted red peppers, all in a luscious garlic sauce inspired by Italy's top chefs. Just saute and serve. Now you don't have to be an Italian chef. Bertolli! To be an Italian chef. Bertolli frozen dinners. Try the whole menu.
Teachers are so important because they can really impact our kids for the future.
Their role in my life went far past them just being teachers and coaches. They were almost like father figures to me. Go to jointheteam.com to nominate your NFL Teacher of the Year.
This year's hurricanes have been hard on a lot of folks, but children are especially vulnerable. From those who are evacuating their homes to the ones watching everything unfold on TV. Clinical psychologist Robin Goodman joins us now with some advice on how to help youngsters get through these tough times. Robin, thanks for sticking around, staying with us this morning. Kind of give me an idea of what type of emotional issues are going on with kids who are directly affected by this.
You know, kids' reactions fall into a few categories. One is their physical reactions, so they might have stomach aches, headaches, complain about things like that. Emotional reactions is they're scared, they're upset, they're worried. Will they be separated? Will something happen to them or the people that they care about? Also, their thoughts, they're confused, they're worried, and then behaviors. You'll see anger, irritability, that regression, that clingy behavior. Those are the kinds of things that show you their world is really out of control and they're feeling so unsafe.
In the last few weeks, a lot of these kids have come to fear rain, wind, and darkness. How do you get a kid over that?
Right, well, one thing is parents have to understand that these are very normal, and they're probably only short-lived. You know, hopefully they're short-lived over the next few weeks or so. What you want to do is really reassure them about, you know, the reality of things. Kids will possibly have those situations where they will kind of re-experience those kind of things when they hear those sights or sounds that remind them of something scary, you know, the wind or the rain. And so parents have to really make sure that they are close to them, often touching them, hugging them, and really giving them that physical sense of security, as well as talking to them and finding out what are you most worried about. You know, is it that you're not going to have something to eat? Is you don't have something to play with? Are you missing me? And, you know, let's sit together and do some activity.
Some of us who are considerably older than 5 years old wonder if life will ever be normal again. So how do you convince a 5-year-old, for instance, that life will be normal again?
Well, you know, the thing is, it's not convincing them, it's showing them. And that means doing the very simple things day to day. It's maybe, you know, let's read your favorite story. What kinds of things did you normally do that helped? Is it kind of having a regular bedtime routine? And then again, the best predictor of how kids are doing is how a parent is doing. If you model calm and that you feel like, you know, we're going to get back to normal and things will recover slowly and we'll get to do those things we've always used to do, go to school, maybe go to church, have dinner together, then they will feel more in control and they'll feel safe by watching you actually be a model of feeling safe.
Kids are changing schools because of this. A lot of kids are going to have to change schools for the second time in a month. How do you help them with that transition?
A lot of it is problem solving in terms of, okay, what do you think is going to happen? Most of these things that we're talking about is getting a real sense from the child, what are they worried about? When they ask a question, you really want to investigate what's behind that question. So sometimes it's what's going to be the same, what's going to be different. What do you want to tell people? How do you make a new friend? And really role play that. What worked before? You know, what should we find out about the sports or about recess or about geometry or if you need help? So it's really looking at what's helped you in the past and what you're good at. That can help with the self-esteem and that sense of mastery in a new situation.
Okay, let's talk about kids who are not in the hurricane zone but are watching this wall-to-wall coverage on TV. They're picking up the newspaper. People are talking about it. How are they dealing with this, and how do you help them deal with it?
Well, again, sometimes the parents have to realize that if they're talking about it and the TV is on, the kids aren't in the room, they're picking up that information. You want to limit exposure with kids. Kids everywhere in the country, especially if they're little, may think it's happening in their backyard because the news is right in their living room. So you really want to kind of get them to see that go outside and it's not where we are. And older kids may be overwhelmed by some of the devastating details. And any age kid may benefit from let's do something. Let's help. Let's go through our toys, find out what we can donate, even if it's to the local shelter, or help mom and dad bring things to a place that's going to go down south and help other people.
Great advice. Robin Goodman, thanks again.
Sure.
Really do appreciate it. Still ahead, financial advisor Ray Martin tells you how Rita will affect your wallet and what you can do about it. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Are you listening to your heart? You should. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Do something good for your heart. Smart Start Healthy Heart, the only national cold cereal with ingredients that may help lower both blood pressure and cholesterol as part of a healthy lifestyle. For a healthy heart, start here.
Makeup meltdown? I don't think so.
New Infallible, L'Oreal's first never-fail makeup that fights the 5 signs of makeup meltdown. Infallible hides blemishes, ends rub-off, stops shine, combats signs of fatigue, fights heat and humidity for 16 hours of beautiful skin. New Infallible from L'Oreal.
Morning, Tiger.
Hey, Tiger.
Is your cat part of the family? Then try Meow Mix Indoor Formula, which has specially balanced nutrition for a healthy indoor cat. Meow Mix Indoor Formula.
Meow.
Sometimes you can fix it with a kiss. Sometimes a hug will do the trick. But when her fever spikes, that's the time for medicine with muscle. Children's Motrin.
The brand pediatricians recommend most to bring high fever down fast and keep it down for up to 8 hours.
Sometimes all it takes is your attention. But for high fever, it takes Children's Motrin. Medicine with muscle. Now in new Tropical Punch.
I'll wait for you to take this
chicken, let some light go through. To one better comes, there goes the sun.
Dinner time confessions from Lean Cuisine.
Last night I had a salad and a tub of vanilla chip swirl.
I won my own private pie eating contest.
I cleaned out my cookie drawer.
I had roast chicken portobello with a vegetable rice medley followed by sweet cherries and decadent chocolate sauce. It was one of those new dinners with dessert from Lean Cuisine.
Introducing 30% more food and dessert from Lean Cuisine.
Martha Stewart was the queen of perfection.
It's a good thing.
Until the stock scandal put her behind bars.
I was told I'd be given a job.
25 cents an hour.
Sybil Shepherd. Martha behind bars. It wasn't such a good thing.
Martha was a bad girl.
A world premiere movie, CBS Sunday.
Now for some insight into the financial toll Hurricane Rita is taking on consumers, we turn to our financial advisor, Ray Martin. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Tracy.
So we've been talking all morning about the hurricane's impact on gas and oil, but how is it going to affect the economy overall? Not just Rita, but the 1-2 punch of Katrina and then Rita.
Well, the economy's already been slowing throughout the year. It's growing about a 3% clip right now, which is okay, but it has been slowing down. The effect of Katrina is that the economy's probably going to slow down its growth by about 1%. We'll see what Rita brings us as well. You know, this could probably slow in the fourth quarter, continuing slow. But then as a perverse reaction is, it's predicted in the first and second quarter next year, you're going to see the economy start to grow again as these billions of dollars of federal aid are pumped into the economy for reconstruction efforts in the Gulf region. So you're going to see a slowdown, and then you're going to see things pick back up next year.
Now, there are some things that'll directly affect everybody's wallets. We talked a little bit about fuel prices earlier in the show. What about home heating costs?
Well, you know, people pay for their gas, and they compare how they paid for it last week, how much it cost them. When people pay their home heating bills, you know, they fill up the oil tank, propane, natural gas, they compare it to what they paid last year in the 04-05 heating season. You're probably going to see a 50 to 100% increase in costs for this heating season for people. Now, those costs are going to come home to roost in January of 06 because people who have their tanks and fill them up, I know that some people pay their gas, their municipal gas month to month, but they fill them up. They're going to fill them up after the Christmas season. That's when you were going to get that first shock. It's going to be a shocker for a lot of people. And what other ways will consumers be hit? You know, the reconstruction efforts in the Gulf region for Katrina, that is, are going to put a lot of pressure on lumber, concrete, steel for all the rebuilding efforts and all those billions of dollars of federal aid. So it's going to cost you more to build a home next year than just raw materials. Your builder, if you're going to add an addition to your home, your builder is going to tell you all those costs for him went up, so he's going to have to raise costs back to you. Your home heating fuel is going to go up dramatically, as I mentioned, 50 to 100% there. Your costs for airline tickets are going to go up. The fuel prices in the airline industry, it couldn't have come at a worse time, these storms for the airline industry. So they're going to either shut down flights in unprofitable routes and sectors. Are going to be harder for you to travel. You're going to pay more. And also you're going to see interest rates rise because the Fed Reserve Bank has said they're very concerned about this economic stimulus from this rebuilding effort, and it's going to continue to cause inflation. They're going to raise interest rates. So you have some advice on how to combat that. We'll get to the interest rate thing in a second, but the first financial move that you say is consider your heating fuel contract. Yeah, if you haven't done so already, call your heating fuel company and ask them if they can provide a fixed price or a capped contract for you. And be careful here when you do this and read the contract carefully, but you can buy a fixed amount of heating fuel for the season. I think prices are going to be higher there, so you want to look at that and lock in your costs. Okay, secondly, you say anyone with an adjustable rate loan, get rid of it, switch. I've been ringing that bell here now for several months saying, look, lock in your interest rates. This is a time for certainty. We don't like uncertainty. Get certainty in a fixed rate loan mortgage. Those rates are still below 6% for a 30 fixed year rate. Home equity line of credit, refinance that into a fixed rate mortgage. Interest rates are likely to become higher here, even though the Fed has already raised rates 11 times. They're probably likely to do it more if we have inflation. And thirdly, you say any cash you have should be put into a money market mutual fund. Why? Yeah, cash sitting around in a bank account, and you're not paying attention to it, even in a brokerage account. Go call your brokerage firm or your bank and say, I want the highest yielding money market mutual fund. And the reason why is money market mutual funds today are paying 3.25% to 3.5% interest, about double what they paid a year ago. Go get the highest yielding one you can for the cash that you need to keep the liquidity, because interest rates are getting interesting now. Just make sure you're getting the highest interest rate. Getting the benefit of it. And also you say this is the time to invest in energy stocks. Well, you know, we've been doing that all year long for a lot of people. As a matter of fact, so some of the clients I've talked to, I've said in the summer, let's buy shares of things like the Dow Jones U.S. Energy Index Exchange Traded Fund.
fund, IYE, Indigo Yankee Echo is the ticker symbol.
Write that one down.
That's gone up 12% since last month. Now, if energy prices continue to have this crunch and we continue to see these issues with energy, and I think we will, you know, this is a way if you're an investor to maybe to earn a little bit of profit on this and cash that in to offset your energy costs. Now, just as well as that can make money, you can also lose money if energy prices go the other way. So just be careful there, but it's a good idea to have it in a portfolio.
If you're hurting when you go to the pump, you might as well profit by investing in the stocks.
Recoup it back on the other side. I don't mean to be a profit monger here, but it's just a way to offset or hedge the cost.
All right, Ray Martin, thanks. Great advice.
You're welcome.
Up next, we'll have more on Hurricane Rita. You're watching the Saturday Early Show on CBS.
Work on that left hand.
Thanks for the jest, Mom.
Simple, everyday moments can be the perfect time to talk to your kids about not smoking, so you don't have to plan a big discussion.
Look, there's a dragonfly on one of the roller coasters.
Is your leg? A little moment will do just fine. Talk to your kids about not smoking.
Smoking cigarettes can hurt your game too.
They'll listen.
Don't worry, Dad. I won't.
For conversation starters, log on to philipmorrisusa.com.
We're having fun out in the sun. We're such a great team. Being a dad is awesome.
Dad, you're the greatest. Hey.
Wow, that looks cool.
What?
Make your ideal trip a reality on Expedia with extra savings when you book your flight and hotel together.
Expedia.com.
Not one of these allergy medicines can give you long-lasting seasonal allergy relief without the risk of drowsiness. But Allegra 180 can. For people 12 and over, side effects alone may include headache, cold, or backache. Long-lasting Allegra. The relief goes on.
Introducing Whims, tempting bits of chocolate and nuts in a crunchy cookie cluster. Life's more interesting when you live by your whims. New from Pepperidge Farm. Remember what's good.
Thank you, Bob. That was extraordinarily enlightening. And now I am honored to present our next speaker. She is a real class act, insightful, tenacious, and authority on our business. It is my privilege to introduce this special, special lady, Catherine Nolan.
New Tide to Go. It's Tide to the rescue.
When I have a cold sore, I wish I could put my life on hold. But now, I don't have to.
Aveeno introduces a clinically proven way to treat cold sore symptoms fast. New Advanced Relief Cold Sore Treatment, an exclusive formula with natural propolis that starts working on contact to improve the condition of cold sores up to 3.5 days faster.
Some things just can't wait.
For healthy, beautiful lips, new Advanced Relief Cold Sore Treatment, only from dermatologist-recommended Aveeno, the leader in active naturals.
You take care of him. Now you can reward yourself with delicious latte creations. Something decidedly different from Coffee Mate that turns coffee into a frothy and well-deserved latte.
You're welcome. Love you too.
Nestle Coffee Mate Latte Creations, coffee's most rewarding perfect mate.
Right now, we want to go to Dallas and speak with the junior senator from the state of Texas, John Cornyn. Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning.
What is the extent of damage in southeast Texas from what you know at this point?
Well, I just got off the phone talking to Mayor Ortiz in Port Arthur, Texas. It's a town of about 58,000 people. They have no electricity. Obviously, the winds are still high. Even the storm is downgraded. And in Beaumont, Texas, close by, they have no electricity. They're telling people don't come back. Nobody out. Anybody leaves can't come back until they get things stabilized there. Of course, they had first responders located on ships, located in the ship channel there, ready for deployment as soon as the wind and the weather permitted. In Houston, I just talked to County Judge Robert Eccles, who said while Houston was spared by and large, of course, I think many people watched this mass exodus of people under this evacuation plan, and some got stranded because of lack of gasoline. That's still a problem now, but so they're encouraging people to wait a little while before they make their way back.
Senator, of course, there were all these problems getting help to the people who needed it during Hurricane Katrina. We spoke with Acting FEMA Director Paulson today, David Paulson. He says things will be different this time. How optimistic are you that FEMA is going to do this in the way that a lot of people say they should have done it the last time?
Well, I think for two reasons it'll be better. One is that I think everybody saw Katrina as a wake-up call. And secondly, because of Katrina, there were already FEMA officials pre-positioned in Texas. And the National Guard, of course, the governor and the county judges and the local officials, I think, did a really good job working together with the federal government to pre-position supplies, food, water, and the like. And I think we were about as prepared as we could humanly be prepared.
Okay. Texas Senator John Cornyn joining us this morning from Dallas. Thank you very much, and good luck to you today, sir.
Thank you very much.
Tracy?
As Senator Cornyn mentioned, those refinery towns, Beaumont, Texas, and Port Arthur, Texas, were some of the hardest hit. CBS News correspondent John Roberts is in Port Arthur now to tell us how that town fared. John?
Yeah, good morning to you, Tracy. As promised, we've made our way south of Beaumont down into Port Arthur to take a look at what the situation is down here. We've got a producer and a crew in the downtown area. We're going to be there soon, and they report that there's some water on one street, but other than that, it was spared the massive flooding that officials in Port Arthur thought that they were going to get. It appears did not get over the top of that flood wall, and so downtown Port Arthur looked. Took us a while to get down here, down Highway 29 into Port Arthur. There was a lot of power lines that were down across the road, other little bits of flooding here and there. Along the way, we
have lost some of the audio.
Hotels along the way.
John, sorry about that. We had to dump out. The audio was coming in and out. There were some amazing pictures, though, from the first look at Port Arthur, Texas this morning.
We want to try right now, I don't know what we're looking at right now. We want to try right now to talk to Randall Pinkston, who is just outside of Beaumont. Randall, you there?
Actually, Russ, I am here, and I am in Beaumont. The local authorities throughout the hurricane zone here in Beaumont, going south, going north, and east, are looking at what Rita wrecked. We traveled east out of Beaumont for about 10 miles into the town of Rita, Texas, and we saw trees smashed, gasoline stations looked like someone had pushed the pumps to the ground, damage everywhere. This is what was left of a flea market in Rita. Buildings looked as if they'd been blown apart, lumber strewn about the parking lot like matchsticks, rooftops ripped away. It's hard to imagine anyone would ride out a hurricane here, but that's what Dawn Allen and her fiance did. What did it sound like?
Actually, it kind of sounded like it was a little rumble. It really, when we were up at the grocery store, it really didn't. It sounded bad. Watch out.
It's okay, right? I see you're a little nervous about flying debris, huh? You saw a lot of it last night?
I've never seen anything like this before. And I've grown up here and in Port Arthur and in Freeport. I've never, ever seen anything like this. Ever.
By the way, it's a good idea to be on the lookout for flying debris. You see the winds blowing out there while Rita is weakening. 30 to 50 mile per hour winds are still very dangerous. They can take just an average, ordinary object and turn them into deadly missiles. Russ?
Okay, Randall Pinkston in Beaumont, thanks a lot. As we wrap up this morning, I want to let you know where we stand right now at Hurricane Rita. Rita is losing steam after barreling onto shore along the Texas-Louisiana border earlier this morning, about 3:30 in the morning, as a Category 3 storm packing 120-mile-an-hour winds and torrential rains.
Within the past hour or so, Rita was downgraded to a Category 1 storm and is expected to hang over land for some time, drenching the area with up to 25 inches of rain, more than 2 feet. The storm surge could be 20 feet high. Galveston and Houston, Texas were largely spared, but New Orleans is again dealing with flooding.
Be sure to stay with CBS News for all the latest on the impact of Hurricane Rita throughout the weekend. Updates this afternoon, special edition of the Evening News tonight. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you soon.
Now, live
This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
And welcome to our extended coverage of Hurricane Rita. The storm making landfall around 3 this morning, hitting eastern Texas and western Louisiana especially hard.
And this morning we're hearing about some heroic rescue efforts out of the strike zone. CBS 4's Mike Kirsch, who rode out the storm in Lake Charles, Louisiana, sent some video and this phone report of a rescue he witnessed.
Okay. This took place as the eye slammed into Lake Charles